listening to the
Bum Podcast.
Hey, MFM. See you on the lips.
Back attack, dude.
Fun Fire!
Hey, yo, homies. Good.
Slide down the big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, welcome to the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Pub Beer. Now, unfortunately, Stony Buds was not able to make this episode, but this is temporary. He will be back. But the first thing I got to ask is, Mikey LeBlanc, how are you doing today?
Really good, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Good to hear your soothing voice through the headphones, Mike.
No problem.
To my left, we got Ståle Sandbech in the booth. Ståle, how you doing, Ståle?
Doing very good. Very good.
What's the proper...
Glad to be here with you guys.
Thank you. We're so glad you're here.
We're missing Stony Buds too, but
We are.
you guys
get
are.
Stony.
Give Yanni Buds an air horn.
Big love, Stony.
First question, though, before I do my intro. Ståle, how's the real pronunciation?
Ståle.
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 Okay, well, I'm probably going to butcher that. For the people that don't know
Yeah,
who
that's pretty good.
Ståle
Yeah.
is, Ståle is an elite pro snowboarder. He's, of course, Norwegian. He's an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle that can ride any type of terrain. He's competed in 4 Olympics. Got a silver in Sochi in slopestyle, the year he had the Mohawk. He's won the TTR World Tour. He's got medals at X Games, every event you can think of. He competed at Arctic Challenge at age 13. He was on the forefront of social media and YouTubing with this series called Ståle Life with Gimbal God. Ståle has been on top of his game for so long, watched many come and go, and continued progressing for well over a decade. The kid's been in the game since he was a fetus, basically. But recently, I think a good place to start, we'll go back to your childhood at some point, but you recently decided to walk away from competitions. Why did you do that?
Yes, I guess it's kind of the first time I say it in a media place. So yeah, I'm done competing, and I guess it was about time. It's been like 15 years of doing like TTR, World Cups, all these contests, and it was just my motivations was more towards filming backcountry. Like when I was at a contest, I would rather think of tricks I could do on the cliff I saw next to the course or something else, or like video ideas. And it was just time. I was tired of it. I enjoyed it when it was good conditions and weather. It was fun. Like there's a competitive person inside of me, but when it was bad weather, windy, icy, you couldn't see shit, and you're still supposed to do triple corks, like that was at the end really draining. Like it was way more scary than before because my motivation was somewhere else. But I loved it done it for so long. I still, when I look at it, at the contest this year, like if it's good weather, I'm like, shit, it kind of looks nice. But it's good to be moving on and getting to spend more time on the other aspects of snowboarding.
Now, I wonder, thinking about the contest circuit, if you will, you're traveling every weekend, different place. Seems like you're always on the move, always going. How is it adapting to a bit of a more mellow schedule?
It's been weird, to be honest. A combination between getting out of the contest scene, which is already like there's like kind of a room to fill in your brain that's empty now. That you're like, what? You're used to something extraordinary going on all the time. Like the season's kind of planned for you, and then you're all of a sudden gotta plan everything yourself, find your crew, be lucky with snow conditions, and it's kind of was flowing the whole time before. Like I did contests, maybe at the end of the year I got lucky, there was powder, filmed like short video parts in very short amount of time. But then this season came and I was kind of planning on starting it in Europe. Europe was terrible, and then I was sick quite a bit. I think I had the street jam flu for like half a year.
Yeah.
I just got getting back from it, and then like my US visa was not approved until last week. So I kind of just been sitting in Norway, looking at you guys riding Brighton, getting powder every day, just like freaking out. Like, what this empty space is like, what I'm like, no adrenaline rush, like not like any, all the things I had planned to do. Like, this was my time to film like my video part, you know, and then everything kind of just went shit.
Yeah.
But there's still time left of the season. So, yeah, we got some more time.
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah, by the time this comes out, your trip will be done, but I know you're heading to Alaska,
Yeah.
allegedly, correct?
Yeah, last minute joined in. So Spenny, Gimbal God, is doing a project. Yeah, big air horn. And he's doing a project with Judd. And he's also filming Torger's project. So it's a good crew there. I just came from, I was able to be 3 days with them in Whistler at their camp spot. Sleeping in tents, and showed up first day in the backcountry. Like, they had already built the jump, but they wanted to block it up like 4 blocks to make it way bigger. My first day there, hadn't really been hitting any big jumps. We were building this while Judd hit this massive cliff. I'm like, damn, these guys are on fire. Like, I'm just like trying to find my groove again. All of a sudden, a helicopter rolls in. Spenny gets in the helicopter. We're all of a sudden having a helicopter session in the backcountry, and I'm about to hit the first jump of the season. And Torgeir just goes like massive first hit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, normally I wasn't scared of that, but it had been like this winter had been like slower than normally. Normally by this time you're like fearless.
Yeah.
You can do anything. But I wasn't there yet. I was like, what? There's a helicopter. It was like almost like a helicopter. It looked like almost an American flag, you know, and just Spenny out of there. Go, 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 go. Just freaking out. But yeah, they got some cool stuff going. And yeah, back to your question. We're going to Alaska with those guys. Same type of setup. We're going to go camp on the glacier for 10 days in tents. And yeah, my first, I think all of us except Spenny's first trip to Alaska. It's going to be me, awesome. Judd, Torgeir, and Brandon Davis also.
Sick.
Sick crew.
Now, one thing you talked about a couple times, and I don't know the verbiage you used exactly, but I think that's something super fascinating, is how you've trained your brain. I think a lot of snowboarders that do it at a high level train their brain into being very comfortable chucking on like giant park jumps, for example. You know, I always think about contest guys. You know, I was talking to Sage once, and he landed a trick, and I can't remember what he was doing, but he's like, I've done a lot of back tens in my day. And you think about a contest guy might have done like 1,000 back tens, whereas a video part person might have done, every time they film one, they do one. So maybe they've done 5, or maybe they've done 6. And so, but your guys' pattern of constantly getting out of your comfort zone and being like, okay, this is a big jump. I got to do a 14. And then having that taken away. But I don't know. I guess I kind of want to talk about training your brain to be comfortable in chucking on big park jumps and how that's worked for you.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes down to how much you do it and how much you think about it. Because you can, like, I guess you guys been talking about it here too. Like, you mind board.
Yeah, mind boarding. Yeah.
Mind boarding. Like, when you get to a certain level, I guess, or I guess kind of early, you start almost learning tricks in your mind. And when you try them, some people are crazy. They just try them right away when they think about it. Some people work on it in their mind, and then a lot of the times, the best dudes, they land these tricks first try, like almost, or first or second or third. Like a first ever triple cork might have happened first try almost, you know, because they have played it in their mind for so many days, you know.
Is that what you do?
For sure. I mean, there's like times where you're more obsessed, so it's like in your mind all the time, and other times where you're more relaxed. But for sure, like most of the big tricks I did, I almost landed first try because I didn't take the risk until I was ready for it, you know? And that's kind of how you stay out of injuries, and injuries will fuck you up. Like if you get injured for a year now with the progression, you're far behind when you get back. So it's like almost better staying a little bit behind and then going there when you're ready and not getting injured and pushing it too fast, you know? So you got to be smart too. It's like tactical play as well as you got to grow balls to do it, and you got to snowboard. And I think the most important to like do these gnarly tricks is that you got to want to do it. It has to be fun. Because I mean, only there's certain people out there that are very competitive, and they go to the mountain, they have their list, they're gonna train. But most of the riders, it needs to come from like inside. You gotta have fun if you're gonna risk your body chucking carcass off a huge jump on shitty conditions, or it's not always good conditions. You know, we're on the mountain. It's most of the time it's kind of stormy.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about, you know, in Alaska, when you were in Whistler, you just showed up and these guys were going and you hadn't been stepping in. Can you, like, basically start, if the season was ideal, how would you start one out? Do you start out just straight airs, 180s, 360s, or do you just, like, what's your jump in? Do you have a technique, or do you just go have fun in the beginning of the year and build up?
Yeah, I mean, I think the past 15 years, it's almost been non-stop snowboarding. Yeah. It's normally like July is maybe like you can call it the holy month. You're not supposed to strap in because then you let your body heal and not get compression and hard landings, you know. But especially like in Norway, we have glaciers, and also we fucking love snowboarding, not just in Norway. But you want to go all the time. But if you have the opportunity to go, you'll go like, you know, spring sessions till mid-May, maybe end of May you chill, and then June you're on the glacier. July you chill, then it's New Zealand, and then it's the glaciers in Europe, and then it's winter, you know.
Wow, 15 years nonstop.
Pretty much, wow. Yeah. So it's been a lot of snowboarding and a lot of fun, but that's kind of that's kind of what you got to do now if you're gonna compete, and if you're gonna, I mean, it's also fun. Yeah. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to snowboard in June. I would chill, but it's when it's like slushy, all your friends are there, you're camping, jumping in the lake. At that point, you're not necessarily there train, or we never like think that we're gonna train. The only time we're training is prior to a contest, when you actually have a 2-hour slot in the course and you got to figure your shit out. Yeah. But the rest of the time it's like, oh, it's good today. We ride longer. Maybe you forget to eat, you know, because it's fun. Yeah. Sometimes it's shitty. You go have a coffee or go down. When you were younger, you would ride all the time because you didn't give a shit if it was raining or so we just snowboarded a lot. And but this season I was kind of just, I don't know, just one of the seasons. Just in the fall, I went to the glacier. It was shit weather, and then the next time I went, it was after Street Jam, so I had the Street Jam flu. And then we went to Boldface, which was fun, but that was more of a learning experience. We didn't snowboard so much, and then kind of winter started off a little slow. Norway was good in January, but February I got some clips, but nothing major. But so we got to step up in Alaska, straight to AK, try to film a video part.
You got it.
Well, good stuff. Really fascinating. I'm going to get into a Patreon question. So our Patreon are our supporters. They pay so we can do this show, and they're basically a sponsor of the show. So we're really thankful for them. And this question comes from Tahoe Roger. And this is a good segue into kind of maybe your roots as a kid growing up. But how many hours a week did you spend riding growing up? Would you say you followed the 10,000 hour rule to mastery before turning pro? Which I think that's a what's the Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell book, I think. But yeah. So
Tahoe Rogers, right?
Tahoe Roger, yep.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, it's a good question. Definitely spent a whole bunch of hours. That's the good thing about coming from a, you can call shitty resort, like a small little hill with one T-bar, is that it's night riding every day. So we rode every day, hundreds of laps, and didn't matter, like it was rainy, didn't matter. We went out, there was no jumps, we built a jump. We were sliding on the fence of the cafeteria, like anything. We were just like figuring it out. And we were a bunch of kids that were on the same page, you know, so that you could go to this hill any day. You didn't have to call, are you going to be there, you know? At that time, we didn't have cell phones, so you would call on your home phone, you know? But you would just go, and then Alec would be there, Simen Neraker, Trym Nordgaard, maybe Danny Larson would be there at some points, you know? Many more. Jesse Blackwell, a lot of people. And yeah, we rode in
What's the name of the resort?
Kirkerubakken.
I'm not going to try to repeat
Kirkerubakken.
that.
Yeah.
Shitty kid up.
A lot of people are from that little hill.
Yeah. Is it right outside of Oslo or is it?
Yeah, right outside, like half an hour.
Yeah.
And I grew up, I could see the hill from, we had to drive there, but I could see it from, I would run on this bridge next to our house every day in the fall and see if they started the snow guns. Just to, like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, tens of thousands of hours, like until it closed. I would come home and fall asleep in the hallway, and my mom had to take my boots off and put me to bed.
That's awesome.
Like the lift closed, we kept hiking, and our parents were so supportive. They would sit and wait, you know,
Wow.
until they were like, now it closed 45 minutes ago. Let's go.
And then earlier off air, you were kind of describing how it's like half ski racing, half snowboarding. Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, the hill it's kind of splitted because the lift was in the middle, and then the left side was ski racing, or Looker's left. And
Which is where Mons Roysland was hanging out?
yeah, I mean, probably at the time, because Mons is also from this hill, but
Got to give Mons an air horn.
yeah. Mons was on the left side. The rest of us were on the right side.
We love you, Mons. We're just kind of roasting a little bit.
But Mons he's quite a few years younger. So at the time he was like, now we're close to the same age, but at that time he was a lot younger, you know. But yeah, it was the ski side and the freestyle side, and it wasn't like insane. Like some days, some seasons the rails were there, some seasons they were not. Some season the cat driver had driven over the rail. Some seasons it was good. So, but it was just, I think that's also where a lot of our creativity came from. Just because we just had to figure it out. It wasn't like a park made for you. The jump was normally like a triangle, you know. And but it was fun. We couldn't stop snowboarding.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Sunbum. In 2010, Sunbum started making products to protect their friends and families from the sun, specifically formulated to help protect those who live and love the sun. You know, a lot of times we don't have sun because we're in the clouds waiting for the sun to break. But you can still get roasted like a Kenny Rogers chicken.
One of the worst mistakes I've ever made is not putting on sunscreen when it's a cloudy day. You still get zorched. You might even get worst UV through the clouds. So I love using Sunbum. I'm always able to grab it. I often forget my sunscreen, but luckily I'll see Jill Perkins or Spencer or one of these Blake Paul, and they'll just steal their Sunbum.
Yeah, they got a great team. You see Blake Paul repping Sunbum, and I run the SPF 50 mineral stick. It's like almost looks like a little glue stick you keep in your pocket. Keeps you protected from the sun. So if you're interested in picking up some Sunbum, buy it at your local surf or snowboard shop. And be sure to support a company that supports snowboarding. Great group of people over at Sunbum, and thank you for supporting the show. All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Bubs Naturals. We're always talking about it here at the Bomb Hole because we hammer all of their products. They recently came out with Bubs Brew. It's their coffee bean. the original blend. It's USDA organic, it's fair trade, and also it's the first ever coffee bean to be Whole30 approved. Another thing we're going to talk about today is Bubs Fountain of Youth Collagen. I actually just discovered that they made flavored collagen. Didn't know that. And I've been hammering the Fountain of Youth Collagen because it's tasty. It's a nice berry flavor. And we all want to relive our glory days out on the battlefield. And if you want to do that, you got to take care of your body. And collagen is huge for, recovery. So you can go out there and pretend you're still 18 years old, even though you can't grab your snowboard. So we recommend Bubs Naturals. If you head on over to their website, bubsnaturals.com, use promo code BOMBHOLE to get 20% off your order. Again, bubsnaturals.com, promo code BOMBHOLE. Get there. All right, we're going to get back to the show. We happen to have a guest question from Alec Ostring. How do you pronounce his last name?
Ostring.
Ostring. Big fan.
Big fan.
Big fan of Alec. Okay, here we go.
Good morning, Bombhole. Big fan of the show, so I'm very excited for a Ståle episode. Ståle, I would love to hear you speak a little bit about your drive and your motivation. You've always snowboarded more than anybody else that I know. Always been hardworking and driven. And that's something that you just kind of kept on doing as you grew up as well. I don't really think there's been other people to win a TTR overall title and then go back home to set up rails and hike him after the local hill closes in the spring. So what motivated you back then and what is motivating you now, 20 plus years later?
Respect. Thank you, Alec. A little bit about what we talked about earlier, motivation. Definitely was just I loved snowboarding, wanted to do it all the time. I think that mixed with having Alec around and having these friends that also was just as motivated as me. So it became easy, it just became natural for us to snowboard all the time and put in the time. But for sure, I also always had the very competitive mindset since I was a kid. Like I wanted to be the fastest on the ice skates or cross country skiing or soccer, and I guess that drive kind of kept on going. So when it came to snowboarding, I did it most of the time just because it was fun, but I also was able to look at it as sort of what you put in, you get out quite early. Also with my big brother Frode, kind of leading me in the right direction, and because he was in the industry, photographer. Like prior to when I started snowboarding, he was semi-pro snowboarder, and he kind of just taught me that the work ethic of it, and I just enjoyed it. It's just who I am, I guess.
Let's talk about your older brother Frode, because I think about growing up. We grabbed Tindy out of the gate and like Newt, and like there was like there's kind of like no grab zones and things that you learn along the way, and things that are cool. Like I used to run with like a handkerchief I had tied to my belt loop, which is just like it was just a bad look really. But like we didn't really like tapped in, so you must have had somebody. Like your brother must have been good because he was probably telling you this is whack, this is cool, grab here, don't grab there.
Definitely. I think that helped out both me but also Alec. Like Alec and we grew up right next to each other, same neighborhood. So we were always together, and then Frode Frode was a lot older than us. He was 16 years older than me, so he was like kind of superhero for us. And but he definitely taught us early, these grabs are no-go. Stinky grabs. You got to grab between the bindings or tip and tail. And he had all the snowboard movies already. So we were in the basement watching VHS. So then we like got into it quite early. We didn't have to go get all these movies by ourselves because they were all in the basement when we started.
What age are we talking here?
8 years old, I started.
Yeah.
I think Alex started around the same. He's 2 years older than me, but around the same time.
Yeah.
and yeah, he definitely showed us the way, and especially me. You know, like he took me on shoots. You know, he was on the shoot with Burton. I was able to ride there next to them on the dragon shoot, and when he was on trips, like he would bring home, like I had Sean White's gloves, I had Heikki Sorsa's skateboard, I had the JP Solberg, who was probably my favorite snowboarder at the time, had been to our house while I was on summer vacation. So he had signed a poster and put it in my room. I was so stoked. I think they shot I'm not sure, but I think they shot a photo of him burning the rabbit suit or something.
Wow.
Like they lit a soccer field on fire or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the photo since, but
For Transcendence.
yeah.
That video part was amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then he, as it went on, he started taking photos with us, took us into a snowboard video he was making, and eventually became my manager too, you know, kept it in the family. And for sure, a big part of my work ethic too. Like, we were shooting photos, and he's a damn good photographer, but he would always, would get a pretty sick photo, or I would never be able to see it. He never showed me. But it was say it was a quarter pipe. It's if you go half a meter bigger, it's going to be sick. I do that. It's half a meter bigger might be a cover. I do that. And then he's a little bigger, and I try to go bigger, and it's it's all right. And then you never see the photo. And then maybe half a year later, he'll come with a magazine and just put it in front of you, and it's a photo of you in the magazine.
Yeah.
Was he was staff for Transworld?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back.
Yeah.
That's when I first met him. Earlier, we talked a little bit about Alec. We're huge fans of Alec here at the show. So I was kind of wondering, he lives in Norway. I don't know if hopefully he comes over and does a show, but I was wondering, do you mind if we talk about Alec for the next 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah.
And just kind of
Definitely.
You're the closest person we know to him, so we're just trying to get some info about Alec.
Yeah. Let's do it. What do you want to know? I mean, your favorite snowboarder's favorite snowboarder is most likely Alec Ostring. At least one of them.
Dude, he's unreal. Yeah.
Probably the most talented I've seen. He was competing. He had good results in contests, but he never loved it. It was never for him. He would ride way gnarlier when it wasn't a competition. When a competition showed up, he would freeze up and thought he was, it didn't work out for him. Obviously sometimes he did great result. He has Aaron style podiums, one locks open, but when you speak to him now, it was never for him, but he was the guy who could do any trick when we were just riding. I don't know if anyone could beat him in a game of snow. Be hard. If he wanted to win.
How did he get so good at skating too? Is what I'm wondering.
He's always been skating. Yeah, we were always skating when we were kids, and then pretty early he became so good that I just started just watching him instead of skating myself. I'd go to the skate park and I would just watch Alex skate, and that's kind of how I stopped skating so much. But
you said
yeah.
riding. Yeah.
Alex sees slow-mo. I'm 100% sure. I don't know if he will tell you, but he has superpowers. He can see slow-mo. Anything we did, he figured it out quite early. We were wrestling at one point, and he was beating Andreas Wieg's ass in wrestling. And Andreas Wieg is the guy who breaks other people's arms in arm wrestling, And little Alec, 17 years old, could have Andreas Wieg tap out slow-mo.
Season slow-mo.
So I like that saying. I haven't heard that, but I like that. So is that sort of a form of visualization, but live?
I mean, he just gets it. If you try to fuck with him, he'll grab your he'll see it.
Yeah. It's kind of Matrix level. Wow.
Well,
You don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with Alec.
It's a good segue to talk about RK1 maybe.
Yeah. No, RK1. Back to our hometown, Rykkinn. So we grew up in these connected houses. I don't know what you call them.
Flats, no? Is that what they're called?
Well, it's one long stretched house, and you have each section, and you have tiny backyard. So there's like multiple of these, and there's like the one I live in. There's like a little field, and then I could see from my bedroom. I could see Olav's house, and then like right next to that was Alex, and all of us ended up riding snowboard. You know, at least like me and Alex started quite early. We're snowboarding. Olav got into it a little later. I think Olav's first time snowboarding was we're doing a bomb drop from a garage.
Respect.
Olav showed up, and I think that's the first time he strapped in bomb drop, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It might have made a
know
bomb
about
hole
that.
in the bottom of that thing.
guaranteed.
And yeah, we're just being kids, riding around. Eventually, we all ended up having sort of like a career in snowboarding or trying. Me and Alec, and then Olav started taking photos and started coming on trips, and then I think we had a crew first. Alec made a crew called Cash, a skateboard crew. We had like we bought this little shelf or like drawer on a secondhand market, and we put it in the parking area and where we lived, and it's a Cash curb. Alec would do like blunt slides and stuff. We would film, and then it eventually, I think it was Alec who wrote on his skateboard like RK and then an N, which is kind of like a short version of Rykkinn, which is our hometown. And then that turned into a one sign. Like, I don't know when that happened, but we all just started riding it around. And then one day we were just riding the Oslo resort, and we were filming, and then that turned into RK1 edit, and then it turned into a crew, and then Len happened to be there at the same time, and Len became part of the crew, and we kept making some more videos because it was pretty successful. And then Torgeir obviously made it into the crew because he was our bro, you know. We were traveling around, and then Olav's sister made the logo, and it kind of just happened because it was just what we were doing. And then Olav was a magician behind the camera and the editing and picking songs, and we were just snowboarding, and it turned into RK1.
Have you seen Mikey? The RK1 edits used to go crazy on the internet.
Yeah. It might have been during my 10-year retirement. I have to go deep
Yeah.
now. I'm excited.
It's
Check 'em
Vimeo days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vimeo. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was lost for Vimeo. I went from VHS to YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find them on Vimeo now. It's pretty hard to
sick.
Google it.
Vimeo
excited
is
to see this.
definitely an interesting wormhole to go down these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And hey, with talking about it, I found one in my bag.
Amazing.
Wow.
They're kind of rare nowadays.
We'll throw that on the set.
It's
for
Throw
you.
that behind you and get it some love
Yeah.
on the studio.
I don't even know if any of the other guys has any anymore. So it might be the last
Wow.
sticker.
Wow.
I
This
need to
is-
remake.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is going to be basically in a museum at some point. Now, I was kind of thinking about going back to your fundamentals, and when I met you, I think it was probably 15-ish, but you're a half-pipe kid.
Yeah.
What's up? Why did you grew up on a mountain with no half-pipe. Why did you choose half-pipe?
We actually had a half pipe.
Oh, you did?
Tiny half pipe.
Okay.
Which some season there was a half pipe, some season not. But at the end, when I was competing in half pipe, there was no half pipe there. But I don't think I was ever a half pipe rider. I just happened to figure out how to ride half pipes during competition. And then at the time, that's where, it just happened to be in the competitions. And then I figured it out. Obviously, I had fun riding it. And then Olympics came up. Like the national team started getting an eye for me at 14, 15. Like in Vancouver Olympics was coming up. And then I think when we met was maybe Mount Hood.
Yep.
So that was like the year prior. So obviously I went there with my brother, and we're kind of on a mission to try to make it, you know?
Yeah.
See if I could to get my tricks together and like make the Olympic team, and I did at 16. And after that, I think, and yeah, because there was no slopestyle at the time in the contest, and the national team didn't have a slopestyle team. And after that, I kind of just kept riding halfpipe, but mostly we had like maybe a New Zealand camp we went to, maybe I think Park City we were before Olympics. But most of the time I was learning my stuff in the practice before the contest because we didn't have pipes otherwise. And I would maybe choose to ride the jumps. So it kind of I just kind of got like, somehow ended up riding half pipes a lot. But I think I was more of a jumper.
That's really interesting. To be able to transition from the jumps and just learn in practice. And some of the other competitors, I'm assuming, I mean, they're just riding half pipe.
Yeah, no, I think at the time when I started it was a bit more, everybody rode everything. Like at this time, I think it was still like the TTR overall was like the top thing to win when I started. And everybody was still kind of doing it. We would like, I remember when we were kids, we would sign up for, at the time, European Open, Burton European Open. And it would be like, nowadays it's hard to make it competition. You got to go through national teams and stuff. But at the time you would sign up online and they would pick out like 200 guys. Like 1 year you would maybe not make it. The next, like you were hoping to make it, even to junior jams. And at that time, like all the kids were riding from, if you made it, from pre-qualifiers to finals in slopestyle and halfpipe. And I think it was 10 days straight competing. But at that time, you were so young, you're full of energy.
Yeah. Loving it. And
Yeah.
getting to meet people from all over the world, probably making
Yeah.
friendships.
Yeah. Remember I met
good.
Sage Kotzenberg?
Yeah.
He had an American flag jacket,
Quicksilver jacket.
long hair. We were probably like 14, 13. He had a beard already.
Yeah.
And all the kids, and ever since we've been friends, like everyone. I think snowboarding is a very, even like all around, you know, you make friends everywhere from contest to wherever you go. Like we have the same interests, you know, we're the same people.
I want to get into some trick nerd stuff too, because I love watching you snowboard. And I noticed that like half pipe riders, at least the people that come from half pipe, almost have a different way of spinning. Like you watch Arthur Longo, for example. He like it's like this really pronounced pop, and then the spin starts. And in half pipe, if you notice how people go off, you can't pre-spin in half pipe or you'll die. So I guess kind of wanted to see if you want to speak on your half pipe fundamentals helping. Did it help your jumping?
For sure. I think like, yeah, like we had the little half pipe at home. And I think it definitely helped me a lot on like my snowboarding skills, edge to edge riding. Like actually, like when you're in the park now and you see like something that could be a transition, I kind of get dragged towards that rather than jumping down a cliff. I rather want to come from the side and hit it like a transition. Definitely helped that way. I think as far as like keeping your edge, spinning, for sure. But I'm also like a guy who can tend to pre-spin sometimes on certain tricks, depending on the trick. But I think it definitely helped me on my overall snowboarding and like how my creativity or how my mind looks at the whole mountain. To be able to ride kind of anything or like look at anything as something you can ride.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking quick too. I'm thinking half pipe is just so back to back. Like, you know, if you're just a jumper, you can just hit this jump. You can pull out at any time. You can pull out in the pipe too, but it's so quick.
Yeah.
I think with free riding, it might be a nice thing.
Also, the thing you mentioned too is like the non-linear factor. Like slopestyle is straight down, whereas transition is like non-linear. It's like left, right, sideways.
Yeah, and now especially with the big pipes, it's like if you haven't been in a big pipe for a while and you drop in, and it's like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
You're your brain is just shaking when you get to the bottom if you haven't done it for a while, and then you ease into it. But it's definitely like holding your edge and like a lot of force. I mean, you get that force if there's a heavy compression on the jump too, but in the half pipe it's just straight force on your edge the whole time. And nowadays, when like these guys, Ayumo and those guys, I thought at the time like nobody can go bigger than Sean. Like Sean went massive, but now these guys are going even bigger, and that energy that goes into that is insane. Like you can't see it on, for example, Ayumo. He's chilling, but his muscles are probably like flexing like crazy in their boots there, you know, just to keep the board stable on that force. Maybe it's a little bumpy too, you know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know until you go in high speed in the pipe.
No one's gonna know what that feels like.
Yeah, no one's gonna know what that feels like.
I'm never gonna know what it feels like to be Ayumu.
No,
Unless I get in like a fighter jet, basically.
I mean, no, I'll never know. 25, 6. How big is he going now? It's huge.
Yeah, maybe bigger than that.
I mean, some of the most. I mean, people forget Travis Rice was a half pipe.
Yeah.
Like watching him even spin off cliffs in AK. You can like what you were talking about, like the straight, and then spinning once he's off. It is a half pipe thing. I've been punished in that half pipe. Trying to spin early.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to spin. And there's a changing of the guards at some point, because especially in regards to backside spinning, this is like some real trick nerd stuff, but watching slopestyle contests evolve, you know, people used to arc a nice turn. Like, you know, you have like a nice C on the takeoff for spins. And I feel like Ståle was kind of, you were on the forefront of kind of just going straight, like, or more straight, not really boomerang hooking. And then I would notice that like you guys would somehow generate so much momentum off the like toe edge underneath your back foot. You like torsionally flex your board and then just zing backside and do 1440s and stuff. And you're just like, dude, it was like a changing in the guard. I felt like with fundamentals of backside spinning. You want to speak on that at all?
No, I mean, the backside spin is it's been my best trick and my worst trick, you know, from throughout my career. But definitely, I think I have the more old way of doing it, but I took it my way, or I don't know. I was more on edge, like you said, like loading up the spin. Now they're maybe flipping it more, so you don't have to like be so hard on your edge. I mean, some people are still spinning flat, but when you're flat, you have to dig your edge down so much. So certain times that would fuck you up because the takeoff was trashed, especially like if you looked at the contest at the time.
Sorry. Before you go on, can you elaborate why you have to dig in your edge so much to spin flat as opposed to staying flat based and you can flip?
I think just like to load up the energy and like your
weight over your board.
weight distribution, you know. You have to do your setup turn, and you have to get all your weight on your toes while you're like loading up, and you just.
Okay, I'm getting some tricks here.
Yeah.
So the setup turn. I wanted to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Back it up even
What's
more.
going on?
Well,
Let's talk. Okay, let's just talk about a 1440. Like, what's your role into that, or whatever trick backside?
yeah. I mean, so it's kind of like a. It's
and
like
that
an
creates energy, is what you're telling me.
in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like the weight distribution, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go too much if you don't do the setup turn, you go that hard on your toes, you're probably gonna fall over.
Mm-hmm.
So you can like keep your weight on your toes while your body is like up. But the cool thing about snowboarding too is that if you look at everyone, most people have a little bit different technique. Maybe nowadays you start seeing a bit more the same, because maybe on the airbags takeoffs, you can't need a certain takeoff. You can't necessarily do it that way as much. But for me, it was like a big S, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other guys, or some guys, might be like flipping it a lot more. So you kind of like you can kind of go more straight and then just kind of scratch off, kind of like not necessarily
Off your tail.
off your tail, or like off your toes, but you're not on your edge like that. You're more like
Pop
scratching out off.
Mm-hmm.
which at some point I kind of also figured out when I did the actually shitty topic because the backside 14 triple cork or whatever was kind of like my best trick, and I did a lot of good contest results with that. And then from one year to the other, I just lost that trick. I went from one season maybe falling twice in the whole year to the next season landing twice, and have not really been able to do it since. So I was like, I don't know, backside. Fuck.
It's too soon. Sorry to bring that up.
No, no.
This is
No,
a
but
sore subject.
It's I don't know. I don't know if it happened to you guys. If you guys lost,
I lost everything.
Yeah, you're talking about guys that just
come on.
there's not a whole lot left really for
I
me.
go straight. I got a method.
Yeah. No, so that was I think 2015 to 2016.
Is that repetition or was this because you didn't stop snowboarding?
No, I
This
think
was just
I don't know. It's sometimes I feel like I was so good at it that it just didn't want me to do it anymore. So then I had to try to figure out. I started spinning more flat. I started trying to figure out front side 14s, cab 14s, and I had to stick with the back 12. It kind of sucked, but I've kind of figured it out. But
the back 12s all day.
back 12 can do on back 12 like from that technique, my technique, I can like back 12 almost like anything, like super small. But if I'm gonna try back 16, it's like super fast 12 and then like whoa. And then I could never like really figure out the 16. I did it sometimes, but I never had it on lock, which I never like understood. I was like, fuck, how can I spin the 12 so fast on the small jump, but I can't do the back 16 on the big jump? So it's tricky, like figuring out all the tricks, and then maybe my motivation was more towards other types of tricks, filming tricks, but I was still in the contests, and yeah, backside kind of was always my best spin, and then after 2015.
But you won many a contest at that. That was like was that Dew Tour when it was 3 stops still or something like that? Maybe
It was the Aaron Style Tour.
Aaron Style Tour. Okay.
Yeah, big. I was like, went from being big air dude to not podiuming big air again, almost from losing that trick.
Now I'm curious. You kind of breezed over. You mentioned different technique on airbags because you obviously can't do a big arcing setup turn on bristles like a basic carpet, So you've been part of the evolution of snowboarding. No airbags, you learn it to snow. Now people are learning everything in the off season in airbags, tons of reps. What's your take on the airbag?
I mean, the best would be if it didn't exist for everyone, I think. But it is a great tool now, and if you're trying to compete right now, if you're not using it, you're just in the beginning. Yeah, it was like fuck that. We got balls, we can do it. That's whack, which I was trying to be a part of too. But by the time like last year, it was like fuck. It's just like if you're gonna compete and not use it, you might as well not compete, because these guys are doing the tricks all summer long, and you can land on your head. I mean, you can also get injured on the airbag. But I think we spoke about it in the lift the other day. Like, I think it's killing the sport faster in the competition side of it, because it helps you progress so much faster that we're gonna reach the limit maybe before, rather than we like kind of eased it out a little bit. People had to do it on snow. It was not like it allows a bit more gymnast person to become top dog in the competition, rather than having the mix of that and like being the badass. I don't know.
Being a snowboarder.
Yeah. Sometimes you see people who can ride down the big air and do the craziest trick, and then they can't turn properly, or I mean, it's there now. We're not gonna get rid of it, but I think if we could reverse back in time and not make them, it would be better.
You also briefly said, it's going to reach our demise faster because people are going to be doing those bigger rotations faster than they would be otherwise. Do you feel like the 2100s and wherever this ship is heading, and it might already be there, is going to be the demise of snowboarding?
Of contest snowboarding. But I thought, when Torsten did the triple, it was like, whoa, is this even possible? And then we started figuring it out. But it was quite hard, like we couldn't do it on the smallest jumps. And we were like, always like, okay, quad, that's stupid. That's fucked up. Maybe somebody will do it, but it's not going to become a normal thing. It's not going to, like, your eyes might pop out and stuff, But now people are, Marcus did a butter backside 19 at X Games. And now I got to the point where it's just like, anything is possible.
Yeah.
They obviously figured out different ways of spinning. Like you can see, like if you see back in time, like we would have to like either go really flat, or it was like a kind of like a axis, like triple axis. Now they kind of go into this like hyper spin when they kind of like lean back, put the head back, and then just like you're kind of in the same cork the whole time, but a cork that doesn't slow you down. Because if you spin flat, kind of like I said with the 12, it's like you get it fast, but then it slows down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like you need a guy who knows that mathematics and
Physics
stuff to like
It's quantum physics.
maybe he knows
is.
why that is, but now they're in this like one cork that it just doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm. So having a bigger head will help you spin faster.
Yeah.
It's like a
'Cause you get more
gyroscope.
weight.
It's a gyroscope.
Yeah. Maybe they start like
Yeah.
putting weights
In
on
their
the right.
helmet, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Yeah.
30-pound helmet.
You also notice it's almost like they go off the jump, and then like once they grab, like then all of a sudden it sends them into the gyroscope. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not like it's like pop and then gyroscope once they grab.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the grab, but the grab is when you get to that level and those type of spins, your grab becomes your gas pedal. Like the harder you like, the more force you drag the boards toward you with tweaking or doing the grab, depending on the tweak, obviously. But that creates like, back to the physics, somewhat that just makes you spin faster.
What's the fastest spinning grab for you? Like I've seen Noah Selaznik back in the day used to do back 7 tails.
Yeah.
He would grab it when he would pull up.
Yeah.
Spin really quick.
That's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Like in the halfpipe, for example, when they did front 10s, cab 10s with tail and nose, like at a cab 10 in the halfpipe, you can go off like a cab 7, but then you reach the grab, and as soon as you drag that, you're 1080.
Yeah, like Danny Cass was kind of pioneer of that.
And the same like on jumps, but like sometimes, like I think nose or tail is probably the one you can spin the fastest. But when you go into that tweak up here, it's like the ugliest at the same
Starts to
time.
look
If you bend your knee, it's not the best.
But
look.
if you tweak it, like, in my opinion, like, I don't know the word for it, but if you like tweak it differently, it might be the coolest looking trick.
Yeah.
So that grab can be the worst and the best.
Big
If
time.
I was a judge,
Yeah.
But then maybe the judges, they have a, nowadays maybe in FIS, I don't know, they have like maybe a rule book. If you grab that grab, you get so many points, it's just so many ways you can do it. But yeah, I for me, like what that is relevant is like a lot when I spin frontside, like a frontside 10. If I'm a little slow, I can just tweak the indie. It's like my gas pedal.
You're one of the only frontside indie guys though, like that spins like frontside, and everybody else seems melon or I don't know, or a mute, like for a lot of mutes. But I feel like there's not that much people that like you with your gas pedal in the indie on the frontside spins.
And most people flip more,
Yeah,
I'm more of a flat spinner. I've done the corks, but I just never. that was just me. It's more comfortable for me. I don't know, that was the grab for me. We're all different. That's what makes snowboarding somewhat unique to. I mean, everyone's different in other sports too, but we can actually like showcase that with our tricks.
I like this conversation around style because he did mention, you know, when you do the tail grab and you bend your knee and you bring it up by your ear.
And I've definitely done that too, but then it's like a mistake, you know? Like when I tried to learn the backside 14 nose grab, that happened sometimes. And like at X Games one time I did it, I was like, fuck, I wish I didn't. Like, I hope nobody saw that. Nobody saw that on X Games.
Describe that feeling because we've all been there. But like I on a big stage, I've done it in front of my friends and been like, ooh,
Yeah.
that grab. Ooh, 4 of my friends saw this. How
all-
does it feel
I do
when
it all the
there's
time still.
Yeah.
5 million people or 20 million people watching? That must suck.
It sucks. But you're at one point, like when you're competing, some people are really good at doing it for themselves, and like Danny Davis in the halfpipe, he did his own runs, and eventually he got rewarded for it, you know. But sometimes when you're there, you have to you're there to win. You have to please the judges. Sometimes it sucks, you know. Like one time I was doing, I think it was I had to figure out a way to do a better rail trick at the US Open. I did switchboard side underflip. And we were always talking shit about that trick, but I just like was hunting points, you know, and afterwards, like, fuck, should have done something else, you know, for my soul. But
Yeah.
it was a contest,
You're there
and
to
then
win.
yeah, and then you go film, and you care about, I mean, you try to find the right balance.
Yeah.
It's not like you only do the easiest, but yeah, there's so many ways of doing tricks, so it's all personal to what you like, you know.
Sometimes this is a question because we brought up rails. I mean, I've spent part of my career with rails, but then I watch the kids in these slope style runs do these insane rail tricks. And you don't really see a lot of these guys in the streets filming those same tricks, but I'm like, wow, those skills are gnarly. Does that ever translate to like, you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying, Chris? Like some of these slope style kids, it just blows me away what they're doing. And I'm like, wow, that could just, if this kid showed up in the streets doing this, it could be next level.
For sure. I mean, you have those guys too.
Yeah.
Like Brandon Davis, for example, you know, who's always one of the best at rails in competition.
Yeah.
And like, did you see the latest over yonder when
Yeah.
they did the street? Like, he's
Ripping.
insane. Like, same with Kyle, Darcy Sharp,
Yeah.
and Torstein.
Yeah.
Winkleman.
Yeah. So there's for sure.
It's an interesting
Yeah.
culture mix there, though. It's
Totally.
I have an unpopular take. I'm gonna say
Let's hear it.
I've always said this too, and you know the core lords fuck come at me sideways for this.
Like, oh, they're gonna hate.
But I've always said, I'm like, dude, have you ever been to like an X Games or do tour and watched practice or watched these guys ride? They're better than everybody. And I've always said when it comes to video parts, like all those contests, people could do your trick in your video part like in a quarter of the amount of tries, in 10 tries. And it would be so easy for them to go do what you do just because they're so good. That's that was my theory. And granted, it's not received well amongst the core lords in the streets, I will say. But I do think there's also a lot of facets of style and trick selection and
Style,
things like
trick,
that play a
spot,
factor.
clothing, the
But
whole
as
thing.
far as technically doing the trick,
Technically,
they can do any trick in your bag.
Yeah, it's
and they can
crazy.
do it in 2 tries.
Yeah, I'm always blown away.
Trick
by it.
selection is a key word there, though. Like we have, for sure. Like there's, like now you see Dusty Hendrickson doing backflip pretzels in a slopestyle run. You see other people doing switchback flips in a pretzel in a slopestyle run. Then you start, okay, these guys can, but they're also riding street, you know. But the other tricks, maybe we can show up in the street with our slopestyle guys is definitely like if it's like bigger gaps and stuff, because that's what we do at X Games and stuff, and you kind of, for me especially, like I always had like my couple good tricks that I would be pretty good at, like a back one I could do most of the time, and a hardway cab 2, and my contest tricks.
Yeah.
And if I had to do that in the street, it would be, if it was on the right rail, you know. I could do them pretty fast.
Yeah.
But if I was gonna do a nose press frontside 360, I would be struggling. You know.
Yeah.
Like there's different trick selections but also like if it's bigger stuff, we also like tend to. I remember I rode a street spot with Len, and we rode this like kind of tall rail, and I was on a kind of stiff board, so I was able to land, you know, while people maybe you're used to a softer board, and he would nail the trick, but it would slip out because the board was soft. So it's just different styles of riding, and some people are riding in that style in the contest too, and some people in the street are riding maybe more big stuff like a stop style rider would do. So we're all different. That's why it's cool.
Yeah.
If we all rode similar, it would be kind of boring.
Yeah.
I was listening to you on another podcast talking about style, and you mentioned, I think you used the word body mechanics.
Yeah,
I think you said body. It's like body mechanics or something. I could be butchering.
we're
it.
built differently though.
Yeah.
I guess like it's similar, but we're all different. Well, we have one is taller, one is shorter, one is stronger, one is faster. That kind of you see that in their style too. But then you have like some people are maybe like normally slow and stiff, but then they get on a snowboard, they look like yoga teacher all of a sudden, you know. But then snowboard is the right element to find their yoga teacher, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain riders I'd like to emulate, which I'll never be able to do it. It's my body type.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna ride like Blake and Can and Cummins to me kind of ride similarly out of things.
Yeah.
But they're so skinny and tall and light on their feet. I'm just a
Yeah.
little monster. You're like more of a power rider to me, like a good mix.
Attack. You attack. the
Attack.
mountain. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Like you and Rene both kind of attack
Yeah.
the mountain. Like you
Attack.
get low and like
Power.
you just like sprock.
Yeah, always. Yeah, that was how it's just how we figured it out, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it is a body type thing too.
Yeah.
I think
Then-
your style.
If you take like, for example, like, sorry to interrupt you. My bad, Mike. But think about Rene, Ståle. They're low. They attack the mountain. They're on edge constantly. Then there's like snowboarders that stand up really tall. Like Louis Parody, like one of my favorite snowboarders ever. But
Definitely.
he stands up tall on everything, you know. Just interesting. You know?
And sometimes it's in your favor and sometimes not. Like I'm like you said low, like kind of like bent down with my upper body sometimes, and then at sometimes I had to like remind myself to like stand up, you know, especially if it was like a bumpy Aaron style kicker, because if I was like down low, I would maybe hit those bumps and I would compress, so I would have to remember to stand up tall. And then for other, maybe if you're doing a heavy turn, then it's in your favor, leaning forward and being in the weight, you know. It's, I don't. It's just so. If you get into like full geek and like start like measuring, okay, his shoe size is this, his posture is like this, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's we're all
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I would grow up, I definitely tried to emulate certain people.
yeah.
Who were the people that you think popped out early as your people? Let's say you wanted to learn a method like this person or spin like this person.
Yeah. No, for sure was early days. Like we had a kind of a local hero in our mountain too, called Fredrik Scuderi. This was, yeah. This was like prior to, you know, social media, and like we had the videos.
Yeah.
But at the time, like they were so far fetched, you know. And like nowadays, you can watch people on social media every day to find inspiration. But we had like he was our local hero there. He was sponsored. He was like had a couple different jackets, would switch, you know, did the best tricks. So like we would look up to him, and then obviously Mikkel Bang, because he was like sometimes he would show up in the resort, and he was like he's 3 years older than me, and I would like cut out the newspaper articles about him and put him on my wall. And at one time I remember I got to take the T-bar with him. I just talked his brains out probably like blah, 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 blah. And I can still remember that. Like if I ever take a T-bar with someone, ask me like a kid or something, I get that feeling like when I was there, like it meant so much to me at the time. And yeah, so definitely local hero, Mikkel Bang, JP Solberg, and Eero Etala was like, they were like my favorites at the time. And then like, you know, riding with Alec and our friend group, we kind of created our own way.
Yeah.
By like challenging each other, because we were like same level. Maybe one is better at this and that. Like whoever gets this first gets a Coca-Cola at the gas station or like a box of fries. So we had like, I think we called it like Coca-Cola challenge or something.
Yeah.
At
I
the
think
time.
we used to throw hundos around on the spots. How about you, Chris?
I don't
for
think so.
first try.
I used to just bet like you said, you know, skating more than snowboarding, but like I bet I can 3-flip the step up before you loser has to buy the other person a Gatorade.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that was our gambling. But one thing I wanted to highlight too that's really cool. Sorry to
please.
hijack that. You were mentioning going up the chairlift with Mikkel Bang, talking his ear off, and then being like, "Oh, that what if that kid comes to me? I'm gonna remember how that felt, and I'm gonna be cool." We were just at Park City, and there's a kid that showed up, and he had in his buzzed haircut, he did a skull, which is like Ståle's Oakley logo, is a skull and crossbones. And the kid did it in his head. He buzzed it in there. So let's give that homie an air horn because he was ripping.
And he did a sick back 3 front 1 off on the tube.
He was shredding.
Yeah.
But that was just like, how cool is that? You're talking about that story about going up the chairlift with Mikkel, and then now here you are years later, and there's kids buzz cutting their
It's
logo
pretty crazy
into
how
your head.
Yeah. It went fast too, you know? Like I feel like I was a kid half a year ago.
You're still
Still
a
as
kid,
I'm
man.
still a kid, but like I was the youngest, you know?
Yeah.
No, it's super cool. Always means a lot. Definitely.
All right, we're going to get into run through a wall smelling salts here. Have you ever smacked one of these?
No, never.
All right, here, take this.
I've seen you wake up Torgeir with it before.
Yep, we did. Where was that? Bald face Abby training?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you squeeze it, it pops, and it's good for the nostrils. Go
Both?
ahead. Just give it a
Hard?
You have a one-hand or a two-hand snap?
I'm a one-hand snapper. Just give it a
I don't know.
pinch.
I'll
Just
do
give it- Yeah. He got in there. He got in there deep.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Oh fuck. That one's strong. Why did I do that?
I feel like it's on my hands. Wait, it's in my eyes. Ah! Just kidding.
Holy shit. That was like I haven't got one like that in a minute. It's a strong batch, Mike. It's a strong batch.
Mine's like got some liquid coming out.
Yeah. So that's run through a wall smelling salts.
Not bad.
Yeah, available. That's available at bombhole.com. What we're really trying to do here, Ståle, is you see in the space you have Monster Energy drink, you have Red Bull, Rockstar, etc. We're really coming after that market. We want run through a wall smelling salts. We're coming after Red Bull and we're coming after Monster, and we want take for example Mark McMorris, top of the run. We buy him out of his Red Bull contract. He's just run through wall smelling salts helmet.
That'd be
top
nice.
of
How-
style.
What would it look like?
Gold helmet.
Gold.
Yeah, like
I
all
think
gold.
he should actually have like a kind of like a microphone that comes in front, but it's just the smelling salt the whole time while he's hitting the jump. In between each.
Yeah, like those.
Just
Yeah, like the Tony Robbins mic that he uses for the speed.
But
Like,
it's a smelling salt.
Smelling salt. Yeah,
and
I
he
like
just
that.
pops it before every
Yeah, I
hit.
like that. That's good.
I feel good now.
Who's your agent?
Let's compete.
Who's your agent?
So I'm doing my own stuff now.
You are, okay.
Frode was helping me, and then now he's he gotten into art,
Oh, his art's incredible.
so he's just drawing. He doesn't have time for. But I also grew older. Like now, I understand it. I can figure it out myself.
Well, we happen to have a guest
So I
question.
can give you my email afterwards.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We'll slide you over a contract. We happen to have a guest question from none other than
You're still rocking it, huh?
Torgeir. This is from Torgeir Bergum.
Torgeir.
Torgeir.
New Brighton local.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Buds, Diesel, it is Torgeir, and I'm very excited that you have my boy Stale in the booth. Can't wait to hear the episode. And Stale, I am wondering, I know you as a pretty calm and collected and patient person, but what gets you going? What's the most annoying thing in your life? Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
It's a great question. What annoys you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty leveled, but Torger, he knows the trick. He can, obviously, snoring sucks. When people are snoring, you can't sleep. Torger repeating what you're saying for a whole day.
He's done that.
That has happened when you were trying to do shit. He gets in that mood like once a year.
For example, I don't follow really.
Like I don't know, we're doing something and trying to figure out, driving the car, where are we going, blah, blah, blah. And he just puts his like shitty voice and just repeats what you were saying when you're asking him questions, trying to figure out shit. It doesn't happen too much.
It's like the little brother thing. I mean, every little brother's
Yeah.
done that.
And he's older than me. He's my big brother, I guess. And people walking slowly over the road.
Crosswalks.
That sucks.
Taking their time.
Especially young kids, like or
they're on their-
younger people, not kids, but like old people. I get it.
They get the pass.
Yeah.
But especially
your
when they're on their
phone,
phone.
yeah.
The phone thing. That kills me.
Other than that, I'm pretty chill.
I noticed you mentioned like switchboard slide underflips. That seemed like they annoy you a little bit.
Yeah. When I did it, other people do it.
It's a great
I don't
topic.
care too much.
It's a great topic, Mike.
Nothing annoys me, Chris.
Oh, yeah, you're perfectly perfectly calm.
After hitting a smelling salt, you're calm and collected.
I'm just gonna hit it again.
You know, we forgot to talk about is Arctic Challenge at age 13.
Yeah.
How was it?
Is that the one with the sword?
Yep. I think the first one I did, I was like a mascot. So it's like pre-forerunner. And I got to meet all the dudes. Like Travis, Terje,
Yeah.
Andy Finch.
Yeah.
Like, it's all of them. All of them used to be at Arctic Challenge. And little 13-year-old Ståle dropping into a 10-meter high ice wall of a quarter pipe was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the first year I was there or the second that Terje beat the record. 9.8 meter, I think.
Yeah.
It should have just said 10. Just got it out of the way, given out the gold Oakley watch and moved on. But it was so close to just like,
That's still the record, isn't it?
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like it kept going a few more years. They did those events and then they kind of stopped doing the quarter pipes. I think it was too gnarly, dude. Like they were always pure ice, like glacier ice.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, for me, it was sick.
Was it a straight in hit quarter pipe?
Yeah,
It's not like a hip at all. It's just straight in quarter pipe.
you go down the landing of a ski jumping hill,
Yeah.
pretty much straight down.
Yep.
Because I was like 10 kilos at the time. Jacket flapping.
Yeah.
Barely making it over the lip.
Yeah.
But no, it was, yeah, that was crazy experience being able to, Terje inviting me to that and helping me out with that and just letting me ride the scene and meet all my heroes. It's like when Sage mentioned it when we were taking the lift the other day. I hadn't even thought about talking about that because I didn't remember it. There's so much things, but that's like probably like one of the most like, how do you say it? Biggest mark in my like because it just went from riding my home resort to all of a sudden being part of Arctic Challenge.
Like a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Kind of little
And then
skyrocket.
like all of a sudden like I was the kid in a way, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and got to from there go to European Open and actually wasn't scared of talking to these people because I'd met them, you know.
Yeah.
So if I saw them, it was like it's some sort of comfort, you know, because I became like the little brother role, you know.
Mhm.
I wasn't scared of talking to the guys, so no, it was sick. Quarter pipes are the best and the worst. If they're slushy, they're the best. If they're icy, they're gnarly, dude.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I haven't hit one for a while, but I remember my mind hitting a quarter pipe. It always felt like I had to go 2 times faster than my brain wanted me to go. Is that still this? Is that the same for you guys? I mean, like,
Yeah. You kind of, unless you like, you could see Terje, like how he did it, how low he was sitting and like leaning back. He would like kind of absorb the transition and the compression rather than if you're going so fast and you're riding more like you would do normally, you kind of like crash into it. You lose a lot of your speed.
Yeah.
So going like 10 meters in the straighters, you need to have pretty crazy technique. Like maybe if you went chuck flip, it would be easier, but then again, you might go
Good
1.5.
Good luck.
But yeah, I did a lot of them, like did the Arctic Challenge and then Aaron Style used to have a quarter pipe and O'Neill Evolution.
Grand Prix had them too.
Yeah. And they were sick, but they were like people got
Yeah.
smoked.
Yeah.
Jack Mitrani's. Holy
Was
shit.
that the snowmobile towing year?
No, that was Aaron Style in
that was Aaron Style.
Innsbruck.
Okay.
Snowmobile towing, I don't know.
That was a Grand Prix in Breck. They had a snowmobile
Okay.
towing quarter pipe. I remember.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can see why we don't do those in the winter. Like maybe in the spring, it would be sick if somebody like, fuck it, I'm gonna build a 10-meter quarter pipe now and break the world record. I would love to see that.
Who could do it?
Who? I mean Ayumo maybe, but
Raibu.
Ayumo, Raibu. I think Sven could do it. Sven's
What about the
Sven's
goose?
gnarly.
What about the goose? Valentino Gusolini or whatever his name is.
probably the pipe guys. A lot of them maybe, but they're used to going. It's still like you go sideways, like when you hit the wall like
You're
a half
flat
pipe.
base, huh?
When you hit it like a half pipe hit, it becomes like way higher of a, like your line becomes way longer than if you go straight up.
Oh, you're saying it takes out the compression because you're cutting diagonally up the thing,
Yeah.
so it makes it longer. I never thought about it like that.
So all of a sudden
Simple physics.
the hit is maybe like 22 foot, but it might be like it becomes higher because you go from here to here rather than
Yeah. But
Totally.
I think that's the point. Like what you were saying, he got low. Terje, when he did it, was low
Yeah.
and back. If you stand up, you can almost literally, like, I've seen people faceplant going up
dude.
a quarter pipe.
Some people got. I saw people coming off the side of the quarter pipe.
The G outs.
At one point, it was
Yeah.
like cut like this, like I don't know, 5-6 meter in the air, hit the
Oof.
deck, then 10 meters down on the
Wow.
ground.
You're broke at that.
It's like, yeah,
You're done.
a lot of people got, but it was
That must have been sick.
sick, yeah.
All right, contest world. You've won all this. Won the TTR. You won so much stuff. X Games medals, all of it. Dew tours. I've seen you crush Dew tours. Let's talk cheddar biscuits. I know this guy's earned some. He's earned some financial gains. He's extremely humble. It's probably gonna make him really uncomfortable, which is gonna be really fun for us. But like,
He's
give us like a good winning, like notable contest wins. Like, give us something to hold us over.
I don't know. I mean I never won the ones with the biggest prize money, but it was like I had some really good seasons. Like the 2015 season was really good.
Okay, you're gonna need to be
And-
more specific.
I think I'd podiumed. It was one contest I didn't podium that season, so it's a good down payment on my apartment for sure. And I got like an Aaron style ring that is, I think, if I ever get in trouble, that's like my backup.
Nice.
So have you done a lot of media training to kind of figure out how to like maneuver your way from like giving us a solid answer on like money, you know?
Yeah. But if I look at that one, I might just tell you, no, I'm just joking.
So, like, okay, how about, like, what does someone win when they win the Aaron style?
I think at the time it was maybe like 20 thousand for first.
Euros?
Dollars.
Dollars? Okay.
20, and then it went like gradually down. And maybe I think the overall they did like the overall those 2 years.
Yeah.
Which was maybe 50 on top of that.
That's not
Which
So
is
things stacked up. He had these little things.
it was a
stacked
good
up.
yeah. And then like it was more prize money when I started than now. The World Cups now are I think like 12 for first.
Damn.
So if you don't have like mad support from your sponsors, you got to do pretty well in the contest to make just the travel expenses.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people ride for the national teams is because like certain countries pay really well to ride for the national team. Like the government pays you to ride for the country, right? Like,
Yeah, or at least it's different every country. Like they
$70, that's his program.
some pay, like some have like if you make top this you get this much as a scholarship or something, you know, and others might support your housing. Like Norwegian team supports your housing, but you buy lift tickets and planes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Every bit helps, though.
at one point we had some more sponsors for the team, and we got a bit more. Like, but it's all different from nationalities. It's pretty crazy. The Norwegian national team didn't have a sponsor this season, with Marcus Cleveland and Mons
Wild.
being the two top dogs on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to fund you almost have to fund your coach coming at some point almost.
Wild.
But then some years it's others, and some countries that are maybe not doing so well, but they have like really good support. But the cool thing for the national team in Norway is that it's its own federation, board federation for skateboarding, snowboarding, and surfing. So it's controlled by our people,
Yeah. That's unique.
not other people meeting up on the meetings and calling the shots and putting snowboarding in the wrong direction, I guess. I don't know.
So what happens with other countries? It's not FIS that controls that. Like
I think depending on the country, but a lot of them are the snowboard federations are under the ski federations.
Yeah.
So above your guy, there's a ski
ski
guy,
racer. Yeah.
ski racer calling the shots,
Yeah.
which
Never
is
I mean,
kind of been the
all right, we've talked about this on the show a million times. We're going to go down this wormhole contests. Obviously, snowboarding is in a situation where it's run by the Federation of International Skiing, basically ski racing. We're governed by skiers, which is why there's a world tour, the World Cups, which you can't find a link to, and it's just like, and then you have X Games, and it's fragmented. And you have natural selection, which is backcountry, and there's like Dew Tour, but it's all this like there's like a few different contest series, but nothing's cohesive. And then FIS governs most of it, which is so there's just kind of like I just feel like the competitive snowboard scene. There's a lot of people that want to do great, but at the end of the day, if we're gonna call a spade, it's a train wreck, right? I think it's like it's kind of it's a mess, right? So, do you want to go down this wormhole? Like, do you have solutions? Do you have thoughts on it? Give us your 2 cents.
I mean, I've been down this wormhole because I was a part of, at one point, this rider group trying to figure out how we change the tour for TTR at one point, like with Chas Goldemon in the front. Chas did a air horn.
Yeah, huge
Chas.
air horn for Chas.
He did so he kind of took charge because, you know, we're snowboarders, we're pretty young, like, we don't answer emails. We're like, it's hard to make shit happen, you know? But he kind of like did that for everyone and tried to like have a rider group so we could speak to the contests and make it better. And this happened like a couple of times. And at one point I was a part of it. Like it was me, Chas, Torstein, Kjersti Buas, a few others. Like we went to Barcelona for the meeting, and we tried to like help form this new tour, which never really happened. And then last minute, they all of a sudden pushed it, but they didn't change anything, so it wasn't better. But I always had the vision for me, and what I proposed was that if we could make a tour where it's like it's inspired by surfing for sure, but like every stop is unique to itself. So every stop has a story. Say, and then the biggest accomplishment is winning the overall. So everybody follows till the end of the season, because now maybe X Games is the biggest thing happening, and that's in January. After that, people don't give a shit because Mark won X Games. He's the boss, you know. I mean, people give a shit, but it's not like you're not keep on looking at it as like back in the days when Kevin Pearce won the TTR World Tour, and people like it was like Ticket to Ride, and you made it to Arctic Challenge, and whoever won like a. I mean, it's nice if the guy wins a good prize purse because one, he deserves it, but also that creates a lot of attention towards it, you know. Like when you watch golf, sometimes you watch because who's gonna win a chunk of money, you know. You don't care too much about this, what's going on, but who's gonna win that almost, you know. That's how humans are, I guess.
Yeah.
But how I imagined it, like I wasn't necessarily where we were going, but how I imagined it was like, say Locks Open would be known for transitions. It would be a slope style sort of tour-ish, but it would be known. Locks would be known for transitions, maybe 2 jumps, transitions, have like its own course-ish. And maybe on this particular event, you would give wild card out to a person of transition. Maybe like Danny Davis would show up at this event, and then the next event is maybe a slopestyle course that's more rail driven. Maybe Haldor and Jed Anderson would get the wild card, and you would create all these stories. And throughout the season, maybe one is a big air, maybe even one is a bank slalom, and then like at the end of the tour, you create the ultimate guy. You know,
That's cool. I like this.
One course with big ass jumps.
yeah,
too. We need
yeah, like a veil session.
Yeah.
You know, like 4 jumps, 1 3.
Yeah.
So it's like there's always a story to tell, and maybe a different person will win, because at some point we were riding slopestyle course. It was a gap rail, it was a shootout rail, 3 jumps, and same guy would win every time.
Yeah.
Same run.
Yeah.
So
Take away make it a little more creative.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So
Like cater to different skill sets and styles.
yeah. So I tried to like propose that, and we were. It was like things were going on. Like we were working on something exciting, and then I guess after summer and something didn't work out, and it was never launched. But then it was launched, but without. It was launched, but it was like a new name. I think it was Elite Tour, but it was less than the one prior,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So you can't launch a new product that's worse than the one before.
Yeah. Well, and it's frustrating too, because you have natural selection, and they're even having a hard time finding funding, and
Yeah.
that's incredible. But when I think about actually, okay, we all know that FIS sucks ass, right? That's pretty obvious. Every snowboarder just comes on the show is on the same page. We all don't like FIS, right?
Yeah, I mean, they fucked it up back in the days, you know. We were on our own way, and then they came in and fucked it up. I'm sure older generations have more to say about that than me, but it's dribbled down on us.
Totally.
But
But
the problem has been there.
for the solution, I think it's like the only way that would work is you take all the agents, all the super agents, and you take them all and you put them on a board, and it's a financial issue, right? It's like chasing down sponsors, and I'm sure there's logistics too. But I think about it's a solvable problem, and the reason why I think it's solvable is because halfpipe or slopestyle at the Olympics, I remember like hearing the data, and it's like the second most watched event in snowboard in the whole Winter Olympics is like
After hockey finals.
after
amazing.
hockey, it's snowboarding, and so it's like because if it's an argument over eyeballs, well, the Olympics are going to tell us that we can get eyeballs. I think,
Yeah.
even though it's a small sport in the grand scheme of things compared to F1 or Supercross or something like that, but
Well, it's just chaos how it's presented, you know. It's like everyone working against each other in a way, rather than cooperating, we're stronger together, you know.
yeah,
If we had one tour cooperating, you go to the same place to live stream every time.
Yep.
I would compete in the contest and I didn't even know where my friends could watch it.
Mm-hmm.
How are we gonna get views on this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it was. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
We should start over.
Okay. Well, good stuff. Well, one other contest thing before we actually we got other contest stuff, but we had a guest question. I really like this one. This one's from Rene Renacongas. Here we go.
Moro Ståle. I hope you're doing unbelievable over there. And I have a question for you. You've been killing it in the competitions for so many years. So, what is your favorite run and why? And also, if you can go through the tricks, that would be awesome. So, have a great time and hope to see you soon. Much love.
Wow. Thank you, Rene. Love you, little brother. That's a tough question. It's like I don't have the best memory on stuff like that. I kind of move on to the next, but there's many runs that have been done. Is he referring to my runs?
Yeah, like
my
yours. Like,
favorite.
what's your favorite run you've done over your career? Where you're like, damn, that one meant a lot. Like maybe it was the last run.
Yeah.
Climactic.
I mean, I think when this one year, I think it was 2015, and I had been going so many years just getting behind Mark McMorris. Every contest, like I could never beat that guy, you know, and then it was locks open, and I just like had to okay, I gotta just ride my best. It's time. I gotta get on top of the podium. Like, I gotta. He's my friend, but I was like, God damn it, I gotta beat him one time, you know. And so I can't remember the whole run, but I did a double crippler out of a side hit. Back 12, probably cab 12 and the front 10 at the time, or something like that. And the rail run, but it was just like sunny, it was nice, and then finally I got him, you know, and I was on the podium with Mark and Torstein. Like they both had landed good runs, and like it just meant so much. So like that was like, it gave me that feeling of like I made it, you know, like because I had many years with a lot of third and second places, and that's kind of when I got a first, you know.
Amazing.
Never been there.
We should talk about Sochi.
Sochi.
Speaking of second places,
Yeah.
that must have been. I mean, Olympics first year slopestyle in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big ass jumps.
Big ass jumps. Oh, dude. Imagine seeing a contest go down in that course now.
Yeah.
It'd be a shitload of spins.
Yeah. These were jackers.
Yeah. No, that was a sick course. And cool, it's sick experience. You know, the first time slope style, and like I had already done one Olympics, but at that time in Vancouver, I was more like I was the youngest guy ever from Norway to beat the Olympics, and like it was more of like I made it when I made it to Olympics. That was my goal. When I came to Sochi, it was more like I'm here to win or to podium, like that. I'm one of the guys who can do it. So it was like a total different experience. But at the same time, I had already been to one, so I didn't need to focus on like experiencing everything at the same time, you know. I was there to snowboard. We weren't there for a long time either. We were like the first contest to go, and then we left. But that was a sick experience, and coming home with a medal, landing the best run of my life. That was for sure changed my life.
That's amazing. Where does the medal live these days?
It's in my parents' house.
Rad.
Yeah, most of my medals from like back in the days are there.
Yeah.
I don't have too many in my place.
Yeah.
What boots were you wearing when you put down the second place run? Just out of curiosity, I was just kind of wondering.
I don't know if I remember.
You don't remember the specific boot you're wearing? You don't remember that?
I think it was someone's pro model boots, possibly Chris.
He was wearing my 32 Team 3s when they just came out. But yeah, I was.
Big reason why.
I remember,
Extra
you
juice.
know what was really cool though about that? Like, this is one thing I think is cool about the Olympics. Like, once every 4 years, and like, there's a lot of dumbass snowboarders out there. I hate to say this. They're like, you post something you're excited about, like the Olympics or watching it, and they're like, I don't watch the Olympics. It's like, dude, who gives a shit? I don't care. Like, that's fine. Just keep that to yourself. I love watching it, right? And I remember we were in. Where is Sochi? What country is Sochi? Sorry, that's an ignorant question.
Russia.
Russia. It's in Russia. We were in Japan at the time. So I don't know what the time difference was, but it was a weird time. We were watching it, the slopestyle runs in a hotel in like the middle of the night or something. It was like late night. I want to say it was like 2 a.m. We were stayed up to watch everybody's runs. And I just think that shit's cool. Like, oh, we're watching the Olympics, and no matter where we are or whatever. Yeah. And you put it down, and it was a heater, and it's controversial. A lot of people might say Ståle took it. I mean, I'm good friends with Sage, so I gotta stick by my guy. But I could see the argument. Mm-hmm. What's your take on that?
Me?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we both had good runs. Sage won. That's how it is.
that's good media training right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the controversial was, for sure, maybe Europe was pushing for me. US was pushing for Sage. But we all, like all the whole podium, and like even
Mark got third, right?
yeah, and Sven for like we all had really good similar runs. From day to another, it could be swapped, or
You
But,
could have been on a Wheaties box like Sage.
I don't know, not that much. If you're from Norway, you're like, if you get a medal, the cross country skiers next to you have like 5 golds from the same event. So I think it was for the better that Sage won, for sure.
So you guys are chopped liver as snowboarders because it's like just cross country skiers rack them up over there, or what? What's the deal?
I think Norway, the last few, we've taken like records of the most medals ever. With like, so, no, it's sick, but it's like, it definitely wouldn't have been a media tour like that if you're from Norway.
All right, Ståle, you know what it's time for?
Yeah, no, yeah.
You're a contest guy, okay? And but you filmed some video parts, so we're not letting you off the hook on this. It's time for Name That Video Part. Name That Video Part is presented by the IKON Pass. Now, with the IKON Pass, they have access to over 50 of the best destinations in the world. And right now, we got some special springtime offers. Prices go up $100 and promos go away on April 21st. So pick up your season pass now. After this, spring benefits go away, including renewal discounts of up to $100, savings of up to $200 on child passes, an APR for as low as 0% on a payment plan, and of course, immediate access to spring riding at up to 13 destinations. So basically, you buy a pass for next season, you'll have some spring access to 13 destinations, including Big Bear, Snow Valley, Blue Mountain, Stratton, Sugarbush, Snowshoe, Steamboat, Mammoth, Palisades, Winter Park, Tremblant, Solitude, and Deer Valley. IKON Pass Travel is your one-stop shop for adventure. The new 23-24 pass holders buy before April 21st and save $100 on every vacation booked before May 5th, 2023. The good stuff is waiting. All right, let's get into Name That Video Part.
Yeah.
Confidence level 0 through 1, Ståle.
0 through 1.
0 through 10. 0 through 1 is also a good question.
Yeah, through one.
0 through 1,
Is that-
what's your confidence level?
0.5.
0.5. That would be a 5 in a 0 to 10 scale.
Yeah. So he's 5.
5. Mid. Could go terrible, go really good.
All right, let's see how the kid does. Here we go.
Andreas Wig.
Booyah.
Congratulations.
But the video, which video is it?
Well, you can. I mean, you won.
I shouldn't have said that. I should just say Andreas Vig. Leave
You
it at that.
won. I'm gonna give you the win, but I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you take a stab
Let's
at
leave it at that. Is it derelict? No.
Close.
Yeah.
You're in the right. You're like the detector's going off. You're picking up a signal.
Dude, now I went bread and dead.
I can picture some
Same
stairs.
production company.
Yeah. What was the other one? Dude, I should never have said that. Cut.
Correct answer would be video gangs. But
Video
it
games.
is-
Oh shit.
It is your Norwegian compadre.
Yeah.
And what you won here, Ståle, is a bombhole prize pack filled with bombhole merch.
Whoa.
All available at bombhole.com. That'll give you a nice overweight baggage fee for the way home there. I'll put you over.
Alaska goodie bag.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're gonna be camping with that, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna want to camp. There's a lot of cotton products in there, really good for winter camping.
Cotton.
Perfect.
You're gonna want to sweat in
They
those.
say
and-
cotton keeps you alive, right?
Yeah, cotton is better than wool. Is what I've been told for
Me
winter
too.
camping.
Me
So,
too.
okay, part 2 of Name That Video Part is for our listeners. If you know whose video part this is, comment on Ståle's thumbnail photo when the episode comes out on Instagram. That's where we pick our winner. Here we go. All right. Thank you guys for playing Name That Video Part. So we've been talking about contests for a long time here, Ståle, but you kind of got in the YouTube game early before social media was a thing. I feel like, I don't know if YouTube's technically social media. I think it kind of is. Is it?
I think before we called YouTube a social media, but
did.
now I guess we do.
Well, you hired Gimbal God with your, aka Spenny, with your own money, which I thought was fascinating. And you're like, we're going to make these edits for YouTube. And at the time, people were not doing this. And that was called Ståle Life. And I want to pick your brain on why you decided to do that.
Well, so first I tried to do a couple with my Norwegian homie, Øyvind Fikse, and really good snowboarder. Because my Frode was actually like, dude, you gotta try this out. Like, look at Jon Olsen, and look at like you have to make these vlogs. But I was like, I don't want to make vlogs. I want to make more like I want to do it my own way, you know. And we tried to do a couple, which were fine, you know, but it was like a little tricky because we were both Norwegian, and it just felt so weird speaking English to the camera when there was a Norwegian person behind the camera. So we kind of did a few, and then went on with the season, and then I went to this Oakley shoot, Oakley week in Mammoth, and where I met Spenny, and I had this idea in my head to do what now is the project Lines. So this idea was what I had in my head, and I really wanted to do. And I tried to find the right filmer. Like I talked to like a skier who was really good at follow cams in Norway, but he didn't have the time. And then I went to this shoot, and Spenny was just running around doing stop motions and like just like super positive kid and made really cool stuff. And then he filmed this follow cam. When the whole Oakley team was like kind of when we filmed RK1 videos, we always had like a clip when new people came in, and we always called it synchronized snowboarding. But I think they called it like ball line or like mammoth. I don't remember, but all the guys, but Spenny was doing the follow cam and just killing it. And we kind of like the last day of the Oakley week, dinner, party, we started talking, and I was just like, dude, what do you think about this project? Would you be keen to try this project? Like, would you want to come to Locks in 2 weeks and see how we work together, how we just film, and see if we can start this project? And then he was like, yeah, easy. And then we went to Locks, and he was working his ass off, like without us telling him. We were just filming, and he would wake up in the middle of the night. We come down for breakfast. He had like 5 double espressos and had already made a video for YouTube. I was like, whoa, what's going on? and we were there to kind of like film a RK1 video, which we had other people filming too, but he was just killing it so hard, and he just kind of naturally took control over that. And he told me he really wanted to edit it, so he flew back to Norway with us to edit it with us so we could see what he was doing. And this just blew our minds, you know. He was working hard, it was funny to hang out with, he was filming good, he edited super well, and it just clicked. And went on to like try to film more for Lions, and he went back to the US, came to Korvac. We had this national team training session, and he came to film, and we tried to film more clips for Lions, which was kind of, it's not always easy, you know, try to like connect these clips in the way we did, and we were still like figuring out how we were working together. And then he like built this deck presenting me how he could work for me more than Lines, you know, and wanted to do these YouTubes, do this many videos, like had stats, like and I didn't know that during locks he had his final exam at school, and he just skipped it and dropped out of school to come ride with us. And he proposed this, is that what you said, proposed?
Yeah, proposal,
This deck, and all of a sudden we were making stay lives and filming for Lions at the same time, and doing contests and Instagram and YouTube, and it's just the whole production. And we just kind of like naturally clicked. We had the same visions. I didn't like, if he made a video, I didn't even have to watch it before we put it out. I just trusted it because we were on the same page. And yeah, the kind of the funny part in the middle there is that we were about to like agree on something, but obviously I had to hire him full time rather than on a couple of shoots, and I was paying for myself because I kind of wanted to prove what we can do before we asked for budgets, you know. But in the middle of that, we were going to Super Park from Switzerland. We slept on the airport in Switzerland, me, Torger, and Spenny. Spenny bought a bottle of wine, came back, and we're gonna have a cozy time with the boys in the airport. Smashed that bottle. He was trying to open it, you know, like with the shoe. Blew up, like his hand was bleeding, and had a panic attack, and had to calm him down. and then like we slept on the floor on our board bags, and me and Torger had a different flight. And when we came to the US, the border control started questioning us. And at the time, we didn't have a work visa. I didn't really know I needed one because I wasn't working here. I had sponsorships, and I'd been competing here for 10 years or so. And they didn't let me in. I had to be in like custody for 24 hours. Had to take my shoelaces off. No phones. Torger and Seth Hugh, I think, was waiting outside the airport because I was going to drive with them. Nobody knew what was going on, and I was sitting there in a room watching MTV Movie Awards 8 times in a row because that was what's going on TV, and those shoelaces didn't know what was going on, and got sent back and kind of just like got forced into summer vacation and kind of just chilled and we didn't really like sign on, or like I guess Spenny didn't know I like was down to film all the time, so he didn't know what was going on. I think he almost went to like Beautiful Destination, like another media company, but it worked out at the end, and we found our flow, and history from there.
Yeah, it's amazing,
incredible. Is that 2017 when you
17? Yeah.
Okay, so we had a guest question from Gimbal God, and it pertained to that story that you just told. And also his Gimbal God's perspective on his podcast, he came on the Bombhole. So people haven't listened to that. He tells a lot of the stuff you're talking about as well. But I'm curious, how many videos did you guys make together, and what was the frequency, especially with Stale Life?
I don't know. Sometimes it was once a week. Sometimes it was once every 2 weeks. it was different all the time. We didn't have like a set rule, like, and I think Spenny was the one who wanted to do more. So I was never pushing him too much to do a lot of them, but he was like, gotta do once a week. And like, we had like our streaks, you know, like often early seasons, we, up until X Games, we were like pretty on it. And then after that, you know, I was kind of focusing on other stuff too. But I think that all that kind of, I was more nervous for the Name That Video part because we've used so many different songs and like in our minds, there's so many videos out there now. It's like chaos. So I got lucky on that one.
I get curious thinking about creating content. We're in the space of making content, but it's significantly easier because we just have a conversation. But you have to go out and film and do great tricks, and you guys are always like conceptualizing something. And I hear about a lot of people that want to make weekly content face huge burnout issues. Did you have to battle like burning out with that frequency of riding and making videos?
I mean, for sure, there was times, you know, where, yeah, definitely. It's not easy, but we weren't like too strict on it. We just tried to do it. Like if it didn't work out, didn't matter, you know, but we tried, and like obviously the frequency was good for algorithms and stuff like that, but like we tried to make something we wanted to post as well. I mean, some videos I'm less hyped on than others. Like it's better writing and more unique creativity and like more of a idea behind it. Others were just capturing what we were doing, but I felt like we were just doing it very naturally. We didn't like stage stuff. We're just walking around talking and trying to like find the balance of inspiring people that are not necessarily as into snowboarding, but also the people that are into snowboarding. And it's like a fine line you got to balance between the, or you can say, mainstream and the core, to stay legit, I guess. But it was fun. I mean, now we're not doing it in that way anymore. Like I guess we need to find a new inspiration for it, you know, because we did it for so long, so many. But yeah.
We got a Patreon question here that I think is really good. This one is from Madison Wood. And the question is, how did you come up with the idea for lines? And also, what's your favorite sandwich to eat?
Lines came, for sure, I had some inspiration from Candide Tovek's ski stuff. How he like sort of made it look like he was constantly riding down the mountain. And I just wanted to like evolve that into like actually like seamlessly riding down the mountain, but not doing it in a way. So it was like evolution of that, I guess. That's where the idea came from. And yeah, I just always liked when it's like constant moving down, you know, it looks like you're constantly moving down. And it was a challenge, you know. We spent more time than we expected because we started focusing more on the stay lives. And then I had contests on top of that. And then, yeah, it was fun, but it was difficult for sure. For both me and him, it was like the filming part is just as much of the trick as and we both have to remember how the other trick looks like. Because like he's trying to be in the right spot, but I'm also trying to be in the right spot and tweak it's like we're one at that point in a way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely becomes art. You know, it's an art thing at that point.
Yeah. And then we're trying to do hard tricks on top of that. So yeah, it was cool. Different, I guess, at the time. But yeah, we spent, I don't know, it turned in from like trying to be 1 year to being 4 years or something.
It was crazy seeing you guys operate when the short time I had spent time with you while you guys were filming that. It was like, go ride all day, get clips, then immediately Spenny gets home and starts chopping it up. And it's like every day. And it's just like film, chop up, put out, export, upload, repeat. You're just like, holy shit! This
Yeah.
is like, how do you maintain this pace?
Yeah.
That's what I'm the most fascinated by, because I think that there's, I took I'll be totally honest with you. Actually, I took a stab at making a YouTube series, and dude, it was so much work. I was like, this is insane. And I think there's maybe a misconception around it. Oh, I'll just go and create a YouTube series and we'll do this. And it's like, are you ready to like have no fucking life? I mean, do you have any recommendations for people that are thinking about starting it? Do you recommend it? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're bad? What's your take?
I think it just, you gotta want to do it, and you gotta be productive. Like you said, how Spenny is probably the most productive filmer, media person of all. When he's on his shit, he can do so much at the same time, like mastermind. And like you said, like film, come home, do the timeline. If you do it the same day, it goes fluently. If you have to do it a couple days later, then you have other shots on top of that. It becomes way harder. Rather than if you do it like when the memory is fresh, and you have the storyline in your head, which helps a lot. And so that's a tip. Knowing kind of what you want to make as you're making it, and it's a lot of work for sure. If you're gonna do it,
Partnerships are tough too. So you guys are still friends.
yeah,
It's been many years now. That's huge. I
Yeah.
mean, working that closely to get together day by day. So I guess the fit is very important.
yeah,
Personally.
yeah. And we were just on the same page when we found the recipe, kind of.
Yeah.
Like we spent the summer having, like, we went to the glacier in Norway. We tried to film. We had a idea, but the weather was shit, so we couldn't film what we wanted to film. So we ended up not filming. And then we spent the whole summer trying to, like, we tried different ways. And then as soon as we came to Australia, he took up the camera, and then we naturally just did it that way. And ever since, it was like easy, We could like make a shitty day into a interesting video in a way.
Mm-hmm. Totally. One reference of a video we talk about a lot on the show, I always talk about your back three tail scrape late 180 that you film with Spenny. And I think it's a really interesting concept, is going out. You guys would always go get footage, and you're always getting clips, and you're getting phenomenal clips on 10-foot jumps, 15-foot jumps, which is really difficult compared to going to a 40-foot jump or doing a 900 on a big jump. That's just big and easy, kind of, like you just go off the jump and land. But I think there's art to, like, you have to be really good to get good tricks on small things, in my opinion, board control wise. So I guess, do you feel like getting the crafty stuff, like the back three tail scrape late 180, as opposed to a backside 1080, which one do you prefer? What do you think's cooler? What's your take?
I mean, the back 360 has definitely left a bigger mark. We were pretty surprised how many people shared it at the time and how much impact it got. And I guess for us, we were just riding around. I had thought about that trick, kind of just popped into my head, and we tried to do it, and we did it. and then it's trick is hard, and Spenny captured it in the perfect way, so you actually get to see the trick, and like that combination, I think made that trick. Like maybe if it was, I think I told him like, dude, you can just stand on the knuckle. He's like, no, I have to ride next to it. Like if that would have happened, like maybe I would just like disappear, he wouldn't necessarily see that I was grabbing the board while tail scraping, but it just happened naturally. It's just how we snowboard, Idea come into the head, try it out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I've tried it a few times since on like big jumps, but that would be cool to like make it like long down the whole landing.
It'd be insane.
I remember I tried it in a practice on a contest as well.
So sick.
But you have to it's like the balance there is like you can't pop, you have to land where it's the least amount of impact.
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to flex and kind of.
So cool. Control. I mean, you know, like you're saying, the spinning, for me, the control of something simple and like that is just stunning. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it helped them. It helps with those tricks that people can relate to. Like
Yeah.
you can understand how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
rather than like 1800. You might not understand. You understand it, but you're not never gonna try it yourself. Maybe. I think that's why those tricks and like butter tricks and nowadays like people can like try to do it actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to do, but it's not necessarily scary to do.
It's such an interesting thing thinking about like that trick I've referenced a million times, and it's like one of my favorite things to watch on a snowboard. But there's this kind of unwritten rule book. If you're gonna film snowboarding, it's got to be like for real video. It's got to be in the streets, the backcountry. We don't use park, but those crafty park clips are my favorite things. You know, Torgear earlier this year did a cab 5, and then he landed in nose blunt down the landing. Dude, I mean, Steamer does that stuff in his sleep. Cleveland's like literally does the craziest shit you've ever seen, and it's like in the middle of his weekly YouTube video, and you're like, that was fucked up. But my point being is that like, I think that direction of crafty, medium-sized park jumps or big park jumps, but crafty, is just a great direction to take things. And I wish we didn't have this unwritten rule book of snowboarding that was like.
I think you can mix it in. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple rail kids I know that can put it down in the backcountry, but I also know they can ride pipe. So just throwing a random pipe shot in if you're a rail kid.
Yeah,
Or if
exactly.
this kind of stuff, you're going to go to AK and have some insane stuff coming out, but
Hopefully.
and have some of these amazing, like, cool, like, everyday in resort, relatable things, but you're doing stuff that's just mind-blowing.
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
We just like
Mix
to
it all in.
snowboard.
Mix it all in. I like the ATV thing.
Yeah.
I really love ATVs.
Like showcase your snowboarding. Like obviously you want to keep your video part like in a way, but if you do something like, I mean, look at the forum videos back in the days. There was way more park shoots back in the days. There was a lot of park clips in the video part.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta figure out the right move that deserves to be in your video part. That's up to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to anyone else.
Yeah,
True.
totally. I love the formula of like robot food. Obviously, everybody talks about that, but you look at like Travis Parker's part in Afterbang, and he's doing like 16 millimeter cab 9 nose and back radio 7 Indy on big cheese wedges, and then the next shot is him like buttering on hard pack filmed with a handy cam, and then backflip into a tree for no reason, like a bush, and like lands on his head, and then it's like big cheese wedge. It's like this blend. There's a blend of like mediums and formats and locations that works, and I wish I love the non-rigid approach. This is a legit location to film. This isn't. I hate the unwritten rigidity of our rule book that we have that nobody really has, but we all know.
I feel like it kind of goes in waves though.
Yeah.
When it's acceptable and not, but it's like, what's the goal of your video part? That's up to you, you know?
Yeah. If you want to just put out just 10 bangers, like the gnarliest stuff ever, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like Heath Kershard, I used to love his skate parts because they were just, he comes out, he's
Yep.
wearing black leather gloves. It was just
Make you feel something.
death only. And even Jamie Thomas. But like, then you get like a Travis Parker or Mark Frank, who would, ollie off a 80-foot cliff, but he would also do some flat ground tricks.
Yeah.
It's like anybody can go kind of dream about the 80-foot cliff, but the reality is they're going to get to try the flat ground trick. So, I mean, I think it should be what the rider's into first, like you're saying, but also thinking larger than yourself. Sometimes it's like the watcher can relate, and then for you as a brand and your, whatever else, it's more relatable. So, but I do love all that stuff I see coming out of your crew with all the cool little, stuff that I dreamed about trying. I never would want to try it. I know I would just die.
Yeah, I guess like for us also with doing the multiple videos a year, it kind of allowed for not A grade all the time, you know, because how I guess we've been programmed lately. We need like constant information, video. Memory is a lot worse than before. You know, before it was like one video part a year, then you wanted it to be perfect, you know. But if you, with these videos, kind of just allowed us to just play around, and then maybe for the video part I have in vision, I might be a certain way, you know. But that's up to you. And if everybody was writing the same, it's again we wouldn't be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I like the concept of, you know, we vlog. We just talk about vlogs, right? We're talking stale life. It's a bit of a trigger word,
I hated that word.
but it's kind of a vlog.
Yeah.
And so, what's your take on vlogs and snowboarding? Are they good? Are they bad? Do you have an opinion?
I mean, I think I always like visioned ours or tried to make it like a mini TV series, because we didn't want the like selfie talking. Like just by that, I think for me it took away the vlog name in a way, but I guess it is a vlog, and that's became such a normal word in this world right now. But it all depends how you do it, you know. If it's forced and not authentic, it's whack. If you're trying to be someone else, it's whack. If you're being yourself, having fun, trying to inspire people to snowboard. Maybe some people start to snowboard. Like I've had some messages of people saying they stopped skiing because of the videos. By that, it's like I reached a goal, you know, like not necessarily trying to get skiers over to snowboarding, but I just tried to showcase what we did and inspire people to snowboard and our visions, and we just had fun with it. It wasn't like, I mean, obviously like lines and concept videos. Sometimes we had just snowboard edits, which was like they were supposed to be this way, and then was, you know, the stale lives was more like, you know, showing my life, playing with the word stale, you know, and we just tried to be us, I guess. And I feel like that's why it worked.
It's like a video diary almost.
Yeah.
Rather than
Well, the thing that's cool with that is that you did it in a way that was not cornball, and it's that the word vlog. The reason why it's a trigger word is because like generally, the space is filled. The people that pursue that space tend to be they tend to be cornballs, corny as fuck. They're like lack of authenticity, and not all of them are. You know, I follow vlogs in a lot of other action sports, and there's some damn good ones. I'm a consumer of vlogs. I love it because why? Because I learn about these sports that I don't know that much about. I get a little, oh damn, I don't know people in snowboarding. I know everybody. We're in it. We know things, but you want a little glimpse of what's Ståle's life like, and I think they're a good thing for taking this person that snowboards twice a year, and they really want to learn about it, and they learn who the characters are, and they can kind of like get invested in the culture of snowboarding. It's a great gateway for them to find, oh damn, then I found Shredbots, and then I found RK1, and then I found Torment, and then oh damn, the Dust Box. Like you kind of like, you might start with like a vlog, and then you might like get so into the culture that you land on a Dust Box video. And so I think they're really great for like a funnel system of the culture. But the problem why they're easy targets is that there's a huge lack of authenticity and are generally filmed with cornballs. But I think an authentic vlog is a good thing for snowboarding.
Just don't call it a vlog.
Yeah, just don't call it a vlog. Yeah.
That word's gotta go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, like, because I haven't done as many. Like last year was like my last contest season, so like I planned on like, okay, this year I gotta make less videos. I'm not gonna do the videos because I just it's the last push. I want to focus on riding, because so many times we were at, say, Stubai riding before the season, and we were supposed to like get our tricks ready for the season. But I would try to film weird shit for the YouTube to get unique new tricks that I haven't done every single video. But by that, that took me away from like doing the repetition, you know. And I guess I got to the point where, like, you know, it's this last push. I gotta just do it a little boring way, just to like, I need to try keep up with these kids, you know. So I was just like kind of put it on the side for a while, focus on that, try it, maybe find new inspiration for it. And by that, you know, like also like stepping back, watching others, and like finding out that this length of the typical, that type of video, the YouTube videos, it's like perfect for having lunch or food. It's like the thing you put on while you make your lunch, put it on perfect length on your TV. It's actually like, compared to Instagram, it's something you put on your TV, you watch, and you might remember it.
What's your average length?
For what I do?
Yeah.
We didn't have any.
But like just in general.
I guess like 5 to 10 maybe.
Yeah.
4 to 10, depend if it was action heavy or.
Yeah, I think that's probably my main. Like Crystal tells me he watches super long form. I'm like a 5 to 10 minuter. It's like a nice break between and a bunch of emails or whatever.
And it's compared to Instagram, it's like something your brain kind of captures it because you don't swipe straight to the next. You actually sit down. You might put it on your TV, and you might digest it. You know. Well, you do that sometimes with Instagram too, but sometimes you're watching your phone. You don't even know, like half an hour is gone. You don't remember anything of what you've seen. So
true.
That's what I do enjoy making it, because it's like something I put more time in than. Sometimes you have an idea for an Instagram and you're stoked, but also nowadays it's like you kind of feel like you have to post something all the time, but if you don't have the idea for it, it's like just like forced and same over again. Like maybe the audience thinks it's cool, but for you it's like the same trick again or something. It's like a fine line. There's been a lot of content coming out the last 10 years in this world.
True that.
Mind melter video part enders that are just like stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
For real.
I mean, I've been watching people posting to the gram this year that it's like wow, if I could have that shot in anybody's part, really.
Yeah. And if you put it in a
wild.
part or put it on YouTube, it might live longer, you know. It doesn't disappear on the feed.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's what makes YouTube it makes it like a good platform.
So yeah, I love that. I know. And are you kind of saying, you know, you're gonna make less? Let's not call it a vlog. What can we call it? Let's come up with a new name.
Dude, I don't know. Show.
Video
Show.
series.
Yeah,
Mini show.
video series.
Video
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
So making less of those, are you envisioning just like a part, like a video part? Is that kind of your next thing, or where are you headed?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, this year that was like my
the
big
goal.
dream, but like half the season went.
Yeah.
Well, you filmed the part last year pretty much with Torgear.
2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago? Yeah. Rumble.
Yeah, because last year it was mostly contest.
Okay, so Rumble was that footage was 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, that was pretty much A and B roll from X Games, and then one trip to Silverton.
Yeah. All right, so we've obviously been talking about vlogs, but we skipped over one of the biggest highlights of your career, I feel like, is your real snow bronze. You get bronze on that part? Filmed the real snow part, invented a new trick, filmed it similar process to lines. Walk us through that real snow experience for you.
Yeah, real snow was pretty intense, to be honest. We were pretty stoked to do it. It made sense. Like, me and Spenny were filming together. They were doing a real snow that was kind of, you could say, open. Like, you could do whatever you wanted to. It didn't have to be street or backcountry particular. So it was kind of like up to you. Make a piece. How long are it? 90 seconds? 90 seconds, I think.
I'm not sure. Yeah, 90 seconds. Yeah.
And we were stoked to do it. It was like after COVID, so there was not that much other things going on, so it made sense. Like, me and Spenny flew to Norway and basically stayed there. celebrated Christmas with my family. But there was no snow anywhere. So we didn't get to start till like, I think it was from end of October till end of January or something, beginning of October. But I don't think we filmed the first clip until 3rd of December or something. And that was, I think we scraped together snow to jump over this magic carpet tunnel at my local mountain. We just like had to try to do something. But we had like we had the vision of capturing it in our style, so it was like follow cams, obviously, kind of lines inspired, but we didn't want to go all the way there, just kind of like make it look like you were riding the whole time, kind of matching the shots. So it was like, as we went on, we had to like have a vision for it, this trick fits here, then this trick here. But yeah, it was tough. The snow didn't come. Ideally, we had planned to do all like kind of side hits in resorts and backcountry heavy, but somehow we ended up in the street. I thought I was done with street rails by then. Like not no offense to street rails, but just like
Yeah, I was wondering what you meant by that. Like if you're, that's a jab or not.
no. I mean I
Just kidding.
fuck that shit. No. We just ended up going to this one place. They had a little bit of snow, so we scraped together snow. But it happened to start snowing. So it kept snowing. We found some spots. We got into a groove. Like we were like, okay, we're going to try to get a clip every day. Because we were still filming YouTube. So it's like every day a clip, either for real snow, either if it's a lifestyle clip, or make a YouTube, or we're just trying to do something every day just to like not stop. And we got into this really good groove, kind of turned on the real snow mindset, starting to become fearless, like not questioning the trick you would do on like a closeout rail or whatever we were hitting. I was like not scared anymore. I was just like, yeah, X Games, real snow mode. You've probably been in it. But the time frame is so short, and also like filming, you're relying on snow. It was so heavy. We just tried to make the best out of everything, but like sometimes it worked out, sometimes not. We had a little break during Christmas, and then we like headed out to Switzerland to try film backcountry, and we like. It was not deep snow. Like, it was rocks everywhere. Like, we hit so many rocks, and we look back at it, like, Torgeir was there. Luckily, Torgeir was with us most of the time. Like, I hate riding by myself. You need, like, a homie. You need someone else to push it with you, Makes it so much easier. So thanks for Torgeir for being there and, like, helping organizing stuff in Switzerland and like filming for his stuff. But we hit so many rocks, and we look back at it, especially after being at the Baldface course, and like just call that whole time dumb and desperate, because we were so desperate to get shots for real snow to do well that we didn't care about this much snow on top of rocks, chucking double corks, So it was, by the end, it was kind of like mentally draining. I think it left a mark on our brain cells.
For sure.
For both Spenny, me, and probably Torgeir. Like, we were pretty frustrated by the end. And then, like, it was kind of coming together, and we were kind of, like, missing the last clip, the last two clips. We tried a couple. I actually fell a few days earlier and rolled and fucked my ankle and was hurting pretty bad, but it kind of worked out a couple days later, especially when I was riding powder. Later, we found out it was like a little piece broken through the whole season. But we were kind of stressing. We had 1 day left before locks opened, because then I had to like cut it 1 week early. And that's when we got the double chicane. And I think by the time we reached that point, prior to that, me and Spenny was kind of like on top of each other, because we both wanted it so bad and we were just so drained. And then we got that trick, and everything was like amazing. We got pizza, drove to locks, and then locks open happened, and I had to pull out because my ankle was hurting. So yeah, X Games was sick, but it also fucked us up. What's your experience? How's that for you?
Yeah, no, I definitely got emotionally drained to the point where I remember going to the airport, and it's kind of a longer story, but I was like, I was going to miss my flight, but if I checked a bag and I was like, look, you can take this board bag and you can just like throw it in the trash. I don't care. I just need to go home.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like, so I felt that, but, you know, you kind of breezed over the double Shakira, double chicane. What exactly, you do a double chicane and then another 540 after. So is it what is the trick technically called? What are we naming that thing? Because you invented that, right?
I think so. I
think so.
I think when you're doing a evolution of a trick, I don't like when you put a new name on it. It's just like it's a double chicane. Like some might argue a chicane should be from the heels or like not nollie, but I would say it's more a double chicane and a switch double frontside rodeo. But
yeah, me too. You dive over the front,
yeah,
which makes it chicane
so it's like
vibes.
I guess a double chicane 12.
Double chicane 12. Okay. What would Alec call it?
I don't know. You gotta call him.
He's like yelling into the like speakers, like it's not that. Yeah.
I mean, it's a trick.
So you earlier you talked about visualizing tricks, and you're like, I've done them in my head. Where were you at with visualization? How many tries did it take?
This one?
Yeah.
I had this trick in my head for a long time. This was 2021, and I had tried it prior to Olympics 2018 in Korea. But then I went off my toes. So I tried it 2 or 3 times, but I never showed anyone because I kind of wanted nobody to try it before me. So I tried it then, and I kind of couldn't come down correctly. I would land like on the back. And it was scary, you know, so I never really tried it again until that real snow session, like a jump before. I tried it once and just ended up in like a different rotation. It just came down on like my back or head or something and like ripped my binding off, so I couldn't try again. And we kept like looking for the right jump, and then on this jump I landed first try actually. I think I tried one like single, like 900 first, and ate shit, and then I tried that one and landed.
Sick.
And and then like this jump was, Torgeir had like split his nose up and his board on a rock in the landing. We were dumb and desperate.
You guys are gnarly.
Down.
And then the back 180 earlier in your real snow part, you do a back 180 butter cab 5 on like a cornice, and there's rocks in all the landings there you can see.
Yeah, but I was this not upside down twice.
Yeah, true. Yeah, totally.
And I knew where the rocks were.
Yeah.
They weren't under the snow, like.
Yeah.
But that we found the 6 zone, and I'm pretty proud of that video for sure.
So what's your going back in time? You refer to it as dumb and desperate. Okay, you've done this bald face avalanche risk maturity course that we hung out at earlier this year. What's your assessment in hindsight of your decision making? If we're doing a little debrief on that.
Terrible, like not like necessarily sketchy Avi danger on all of them, but the rocks, like the base of the snow. Yeah, it's not good. Dumb and desperate.
So would you recommend people to probe their landings, or just like if you know there's rocks, just don't, the risk isn't worth it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, just most people don't have the pressure of filming an X Games part before the snow base is deep enough. So stay in the resort until the base is deep enough, I guess.
That's a good takeaway.
Know your risks, I guess.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, they say. So, you know, we earlier in the show, we talked about how you've been wrapping up your contest scene, but your last year, you kind of didn't want to do vlogs. You wanted to go all in.
Mini TV, mini
Sorry.
show.
That's a trigger word. You didn't want to do your series, so you decided not to really film. You want to go all in on contests. And earlier off air, you said that like the Wim Hof breathing technique kind of saved your contest year. I'd love to hear more about that.
I guess like I came into the season like knowing this was my last push, make it to the Olympics, and kind of step out from there and get into all the other fun stuff I want to explore in this snowboarding life, and I came to do tour and I just couldn't find my flow. Like I was at the contest and I felt like I had nothing to do there. I was scared. I felt weak, like I was slow on my edge, like I just didn't want to do it. At the same time as like I felt I felt shitty on my board, and kind of got unmotivated after that. I knew it was only a little bit left, but I in my head I had all these ideas for filming and stuff. And then me and my friend, we were actually at Marcus Steamer's resort, because they had built up a little park there, and we went there for some night riding after New Year's. And my homie Øyvind Andersen came, and we were just talking about mind space and stuff on the way up, and then he had been doing like cold baths and this breathing technique, and I think we were staying in a cabin, me, Sven, Torgren, his girlfriend, and then my homie, and my homie just showed it to us, and we were all on the floor like breathing, like sounding like crazy, and I just found like a sense of like relaxation, and like I could like reset my mind. And then after just hanging out with him, I wasn't like I was stressed about having to do well in the contest. I would just go do my thing, and like I've already done so much, I'm putting all this pressure on myself. It's not nobody else. And then like also like by that I started being aware of my breathing, and that also like helped like my being dizzy while riding and all this. And I'm like after 15 years competing, being like involved with like Olympic facilities and stuff, and nobody has taught me or told me I should breathe before I drop into a slopestyle run, Normally maybe I dropped in on a out breath, and held my breath the whole way down. So like I kind of started breathing and found my focus a little bit and relaxed. I was just having a good time. I mean, I think it's a combination about that. I found my groove there, and then I went to locks, and then it went well. I got second from almost quitting before, So, yeah, breathe. Remember to breathe, I guess.
So you don't want to, did I hear that right? You don't want to hold your breath all the way down?
I don't think you can.
That's what
I've been doing for 38 years.
I don't know if you can control that.
Yeah.
But if you can breathe before you go in, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
And also like, because it's kind of when you do contest, you go into this, when you're doing a run, you go into this hyper focus, where you it almost feels like an out of body experience. Like you're just a passenger because your brain is so focused, which is an incredible feeling, but you might forget to breathe.
What is your, you learned a lot from like dropping in before a contest, but now maybe you're on the top of a jump in Alaska or wherever. What's your right before you drop in ritual?
I think I keep forgetting when I'm filming. It's kind of like I don't take breaks. I'm just like up, strap in, drop in.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
Or just like keep riding. But at the end of the contest, like when I found that,
Yeah.
I've been trying to bring that to riding in general, but I kind of tend to forget sometimes. But just like taking a little bit of time before you drop, I think that would be good for me as well. Like sometimes I forget, but at the contest at the end, I started like really noticing, because you had all these preparations. It kind of becomes like a little routine, like you do a little warm up, you think about your run, you're in the start gate. Okay. Sometimes music on, sometimes maybe silent. And then hyper focus.
I got a recent theory I want to work out with you guys, and I want to on these types of things, and I want to hear your take on it. So I earlier this year, I was battling a trick, and I ended up getting a make. But in my head, the story I had was it was kind of like it's almost like courting a significant other. You know, if you're going after. If you're a dude looking for a girlfriend or to meet a lady of sorts, right? You might go out and you don't want to be too desperate, right? You don't want to want the trick too bad.
Is that how you approach the trick?
This is what I'm saying. It's my theory. I want to run it. I want to hear if this works for you. You don't want the trick too bad because then you're kind of scared if you don't get it. You're like, oh, I gotta get this. What if I don't get it? Like, and you start kind of freaking out and you kind of lose your composure and you're tense. Whereas if you're like, you know, I don't even care if I get the trick that much. I mean, I want it. It would be nice, but I'm okay without it. All of a sudden, the trick, it wants to come to you. And I think that's the same law of attraction when it comes to, you know, courting somebody of like that you're attracted to, right? So I think there's some correlations, right? You don't want to be desperate. You don't want it too bad because then you're like, your kind of judgment is clouded where you're like
Stressed.
you're too stressed and then you're stiff and you're missing your grab. But if you're kind of like, I don't even need the trick, it's going to come to you. Or if you're like, you know, I'm good either way, it's going to come to you. But if you're desperate, the trick's not going to come to you. Do you think there's any validation to that? Or are you like the hungry hippo where you're like, I need it or else like.
If you're filming X Games Real Snow, then you're hungry.
Hungry hippo. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Sometimes it's depending on what trick you pick, you know.
This is a long rail. This is
Yeah,
what I was doing.
a long rail.
Because it's like a psychological battle.
Yeah, but the thing with long rails is like you can either get it first try, or it can take you 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to do it many times. Sometimes it's
You got to pretend like you don't care.
Sometimes if you get
the long rail. That's
Yeah.
my theory.
I feel like you almost get further and further away every single try. Sometimes, and then all of a sudden you get it. But long rails are battle.
Mike, you got a theory on this?
You know, I thought because you brought this up before. I mean, I think it's different per trick, like you're saying.
Yeah, certain things are like gnarly, and gnarliness maybe you got to have that like want.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's gnarly, for me, I like to gnarly. If it's something gnarly, I like to see it in my mind before I can even try it, and then just clear my mind and kind of like a mix of what you're saying, like not think about it at all when I drop in. So it's a little.
That's the quick turn, like he said. When you get to the top and just go.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Keep it
Don't
simple.
overthink
Just
it.
that's a big key too. Is just keep it simple.
You already know. You already been through that in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a gnarly trick, you're terrified on top of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a difficult trick, long rail, it might get less and less gnarly doing the rail because you get used to the rail.
Yeah.
But you just get more and more frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a scary trick,
A scary trick on a gnarly line, you might get one shot at it.
yeah, you might not have the energy, brain power to do multiple, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you. So you're showing up and you're doing. Like, our first question is like when you're doing a 14 or over in rotation. When you're about to do it, are you like you're not like chill, right? You're like, all right, you got to get fired up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think certain years they came easier. I wasn't really stressing. Other years, it took a lot of energy. The last 5 years, I feel like my contest run is happening in the contest run. Like, I do like a lower end run during practice, maybe like a 360 less on each trick, just to get the flow. And just because some people do their run right away, boom, keep doing it. Others are like kind of just working their way up. Some tricks are so gnarly you only do them in contests almost, you know.
That's interesting that okay, that 12 felt chill. I know what I got to do it 16.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. Like a front 10 is pretty similar to a front 14 almost. Just gotta
Same axis.
whip it harder
Yeah.
and kind of. I guess with my gas pedal Indy, I gotta pull the gas later. If I pull it too early, I'll come into the wrong axis. But that's different from techniques to techniques.
So my build up from that initial question was to kind of like, how do you, as a person that is putting themselves in a position of being scared constantly, my point I was getting at is like, not necessarily, nobody really wants to do a 16. Like there's like a degree of like it would be much easier to do a back 180 and be like, I'm just gonna do a back 180. It's gonna feel awesome. It's gonna be great. With a pop, it's gonna be chill. I'd love the feeling of that trick. But you're like, the point is like you make yourself try these uncomfortable tricks over all the years of you making yourself try uncomfortable tricks year after year after year. Do you have like any pointers to get somebody to be like, get to that point of just like more or less saying fuck it?
Yeah, but I mean, you get to the point where those uncomfortable tricks are comfortable when you do them so much. I think a lot of those guys in the contest tour now might think it's scarier doing a back 1 on the big jump than a back 16 because they don't know how to spin slow, or there's too much time for shit going on, you know. Maybe not, but the more you spin those tricks, the more like it gets normal, you know. Like you'll see the steamer, for example, he might show up and test the jump in the back 16, and I'm on the side like, fuck, I might do it in my contest run. By the end, you know, like it's yes, it just comes so natural to some of them. Like the more you do it, you know, the more normal it feels. Until I guess you do too much and you lose the trick.
The more you hit, the better you get.
Yeah.
That's what they say, Mike.
Well, I better start hitting.
Do you think you could coach Mike to do a back 16 if you had to? Do you think you could get him there if he needed to?
I mean, if he
You have to be willing.
if he wants to,
Let's go to Woody's.
if he wanted to, but Huck and Tuck.
Huck.
You ready?
I'm with my iPad on the knuckle.
iPad. Reviewing the footy.
Dude, I've seen some it might have been skier where there's a coach on the knuckle like yelling like tuck, open,
Oh yeah.
that's fucked up.
Maybe I could wear a headset while you're
Yeah.
coaching me too.
Tuck,
That'd be sick.
grab, let go.
Wait. Chuck.
Grab the wrong grab. Not that grab.
Just latch on boot.
Yeah.
Little back 16 boot.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see it. I don't think like if you're like gun to my head, like your whole family's dead, you have to do a back 16 today. I think we'd all be dead.
I would try.
I would definitely try,
But
but I think I think back 10 and then right after the dude, I'm back to as soon as we get over that like 12 landing on my head.
You can get to 12.
You gonna get to 12?
Yeah, you got it.
Then you got a whole nother 360
Yeah.
to get
a
to
lot.
16.
It's a lot.
You guys are psychopaths.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the 18. It's crazy. It's like you go off the jump, you do a 900, which I can conceptualize that one pretty well. But then you do a whole nother 900 in the
Yeah.
air.
There's been more in one jump than we do in a day when we're cruising.
Yeah. Crazy. Speaking of spinning a lot, you had a little bit of a dizzy spell in contests, and I'd love to hear that kind of journey you went through.
The dizziness?
The crystals and the
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I just started feeling a little dizzy, like while riding, or just kind of like felt like if I was shaking my head, it didn't like it kept like shaking on the inside, and like maybe I had one situation at Dew Tour practice, Breckenridge, obviously high altitude, pretty long run, and practice like mid slopestyle run between the jumps, like almost fainted. It wasn't like a problem that was all the time, but sometimes like as I got older, and I tried to kind of And that's pretty uncomfortable when you're going into a pretty big jump, trying to do a triple cork or 14, or you want to be sharp. So I tried to like kind of figure it out. I went to see like somebody for like crystal sickness. Didn't find anything. Went to the eye doctor or like see if I needed glasses or something. Nothing there, and kind of just no answer on it. Just being slightly dizzy, but it kind of worked out. It's sometimes more, sometimes less, but I guess kind of the breathing kind of helped a little bit. Breathe before you drop.
So it hasn't happened in a while.
Not as bad as that time. That was maybe it was also a combination by like maybe it was the time, like also my knees were hurting me a little bit. That might be I felt I put more pressure on myself than I should have, or kind of was like a combination about like not crazy harmony or something. I don't know.
You know, I'm not a doctor, but I could be if I wanted to.
Yeah, let's hear it. What's your diagnosis, Chris?
You know, I would take a look at stress personally. I'd take a look at stress.
Yeah, could have
Being
been.
a factor.
I don't know. It's
Michael Blanc,
Michael Blanc, MD. I'm going to say he had a mixture of a ear infection, maybe putting the crystals off, like he was talking about, mixed with stress. Stress is the ultimate killer. But I think it might have been a
couple you're talking to basically like we're not legally doctors, but we're.
How do we solve? How do we solve this?
I would send you to a cranial sacral first. I actually really like cranial sacral. Just get a full neurological reset. See how you feel.
I mean, yeah. Whatever. I'm gonna go down this wormhole. Fuck it. I was just thinking about like, what are we doing talking about this? But I do think like a lot of ailments in my life, if I'm speaking on my own personal experiences, have been caused by stress. Like if I get sick, it's like, damn, I'm feeling sick. It's like, dude, you're hella stressed out.
Yeah.
And it's like when I'm not stressed, like my health, my vitality is just better. So that's. I mean, like I said, pretty much a doctor. So
your life's better, your riding's better, and like you even said maybe earlier about getting, heading out of the contrast circuit. Maybe your mind wasn't in the right place. Like that's a form of stress too, when you're like battling in between what you really want to do versus, what you're doing.
Yeah,
that's stress too.
All right, I got a question for you. So with contest scene, obviously we talked about the big spins being a little bit not our favorite things. What do you think about the direction? Like, what's a good direction? Where's this thing headed? What's a good direction for snowboarding to head, trick style wise?
Contest wise,
just in general, just like what do you like to see when the way things are headed?
I think in general we're doing pretty good. Everybody's doing different stuff, figuring out new tricks. It's not easy to do a new trick nowadays. The natural progression is adding an extra spin, which is maybe difficult to do, but it's not difficult to foresee. To come up with is pretty simple. Spin more. But like if you can find other accesses, different ways, like all these knuckle tricks, like how can you hit the street differently, big mountain, like with natural selection now, you see a lot more people hitting like natural hits in the resort, which is cool. That's like kind of pushing people to a different type of progression. But if you go contest wise, it's like first you gotta get some judges who can think other than more spins, like who can actually like weigh up this trick for this trick, rather than like, oh, it's more technical because of more spin. So that one's difficult. That's maybe up to the course, or like we were on to something with the tour, like maybe there's how you build up the tour, so people ride differently. But I don't know. People like, we didn't think we were gonna do triple corks. Now we're doing quad corks. The sky's the limit, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think you're right. People are doing it. There's all kinds of directions we can go, and like the street and the big backcountry, and everybody's kind of mixing it together. and adding style, like I think is what you're asking for in the contests. Really, is there a way to add style to the judging rather than just the spin?
I mean, for sure, it is there already, but it's just hard to. It's hard to judge too. You know,
Sure.
it's like it's not easy.
Yeah.
You have how much time to decide this score on this guy and that guy. You gotta remember all this, but it's just. I guess we all want to see something else and more spins. I guess that's what is it. We gotta wait and see. Like Cleveland did like the nollie triple.
Yeah.
You know, like in Big Air X Games, like it was something different than more. It didn't add rotation to the maximum rotation. It added rotation to more difficult variation of a trick. Those are hard, you know, like.
The reason why he's the only one that does that.
Like, and you don't see any. Do you see any triple backs or rodeos with more than 12s? You know, like it's because it's terrifying. Nobody wants to do this. Way easier or less scary to try a backs at 18 than a triple backs at rodeo. But if the judges don't reward that, obviously you're gonna do a backs of 18.
Yeah, and there's probably 20 people on the planet that know that.
Or even like Fitzsimons did the nose grab front triple.
Yeah,
and didn't get any points for it. And
Yeah,
that was just gorgeous. That was a gorgeous looking chuck, you know.
Yeah, that was fucked up. The judges fuck up a lot.
You know,
but it's not easy.
That's the thing too about being a judge is it's like it's a pretty thankless job too. It's like, you know, when you get it right, nobody cares because you got it right. That's what your job is, you know, what we expect to do in our subjective sport. And when you get it wrong, you're everybody's punching bag. And so it's like, but as a judge, it's also what you sign up for.
Yeah.
If you don't want that, then you probably shouldn't be a judge.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all really good conversation. You know, I was thinking about I was watching some of your old parts and like in Nation and the Golden Hour session, you know, a lot of the right grab combos of like backside 7, stalefish, and then you bring it back to Indy or Indy to stalefish. I can't remember which one.
Indy to stalefish.
Indy to stalefish. And like the grabs where there's like a good rewind or Tour Gear's switchback 5 method. You've done other mixed up grabs in that Golden Hour session and things like that. But I think those are great directions as well too for, you know, keeping things fresh.
Yeah, I mean, some of them look good, some of them don't, but it's, you know, think outside the box. Just try not to follow what everybody else is doing all the time. Obviously, it's not easy because most tricks have been done.
Yeah.
But find your style, you know. Don't
Totally.
I mean, obviously you have your favorite riders, you're going to copy them a little bit, but also like put your own flavor to it.
All right, it's time for that part of the show we call Hot Takes. Great part of the show. Hot Takes is presented by Oakley. I run the Oakley Line Miner goggles, the Prism lens, and I run the Oakley Mod 1 Pro helmet. New to the helmet game, kicks ass. What are you running for Oakley gear, Ståle?
Same.
But you run the Mod 1 not Pro, just the Mod 1.
Yeah, Mod 1. I've been running both, but recently I ran the Mod 1 Line Miner goggles, Prism.
And he's got Pro
lenses.
model. He's got Pro model outerwear. He's got Pro model everything.
Yeah, I ran my own outerwear with Oakley, goggles, gloves, streetwear, hoodie. It's pretty good.
They make everything you need from golf shirts to combat boots to sunglasses.
Kid looks good.
Yeah.
It's a great company, and I've been there over half my life. It's family.
Incredible. Well, we're going to get into hot takes. We do this every episode. The first question we always ask is the GOAT, greatest of all time, or Michael Jordan, we like to use too, both male and female. To you, who's your GOAT?
To me, I think I would have to say Travis Rice, just because he's of my era, or like since I started. And he's been pushing it so long, and he's still pushing it, still winning contests, produced the biggest videos of snowboarding, invented many tricks. He has the longest bomb hole ever.
It is prestigious. It's right.
So that's the icing on the cake, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then female.
Female, I gotta go with Jamie Anderson. Like, it's hard not to. I think Zoe's gonna come in, make a run for the money, but as of now, Jamie, insane.
Mm-hmm. And you watched her dominate, like you were right alongside her for all those years.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, but she also did it long before me, you know.
Okay, sidebar question: who's the Norwegian goat?
Norwegian goat. There's many, but you cannot not say Terje.
Solid answer. Art or sport? Is snowboarding art or a sport to you?
It's a mix. It's a good mix. Put art and sport, and you just put them in the blender,
Shake them up.
and then maybe somebody gets a cup with more sport in it, and somebody gets a cup with more art in it.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
This guy's
Best one
he's
yet.
good. He's good.
That's what I've heard. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, that is a good. That's probably the best explanation. Okay, who's the most underrated in your opinion?
Alec, even though it's everybody's favorite snowboarder.
But this will be good because people will go down the rabbit
Yeah.
hole on him.
The mainstream, all of the mainstream might not know, but the core, they definitely know.
Okay, steel or powder?
Powder.
I don't think we got a single steel, to be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed in that. Maybe we have. Okay, best style ever. Who you got?
It's tough. I was thinking about this, but I think I've had like different eras in my, but I would say maybe Kazu.
Great answer.
Sick.
Okay, best snowboard video ever made.
Ugh,
To you.
that's a tough one. I think I don't think I have like necessarily a favorite one, but I think the one that stands out the most in my upbringing watching is probably Follow Me Around. Maybe it's not the style that now, but then was like what hit me. Well, not that it's not now, but you know what I mean.
No, it's a timeless
Yeah.
Ender,
Yeah.
Aeroetala.
So I
is-
think
yeah,
that's the one that had the biggest impact of me then.
Yeah.
Now I find my inspiration both there and like all bits and pieces in all videos, you know. I take out the pieces that hits me, but that video probably had the most impact. And the VHS of technical difficulties is imprinted to my
Damn.
brain.
Great answer, too. Best board graphic ever.
The sword.
It's a good one.
Solid answer.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could go heliboarding with 3 people. Actually, first, we'll ask pants over the high back or under the high back?
Under the high back.
It's new gen. We don't get over the high back anymore. You over the high back?
Still running it.
Are you?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. That's
Dude,
OG.
Goggles just went over the helmet. Might the pants might come back
that's
up over the high backs
The
again.
pants have been too tight. Maybe they're getting bigger again.
Yeah.
Might have to go back over. Who knows? It's pretty personal.
Okay. If you could go heliboarding with 3 people, just good times, whacking pow turns, who you taking?
I mean, I would have loved to go with the RK1 crew, but then we got to add 1 seat to the helicopter.
You do a little mod, a little modification,
Yeah.
a little heli mod.
Yeah, let's get
Olaf can sit in the basket
Throw
outside.
him in the basket, yeah. Throw Olaf in the
Yeah.
basket.
So Torgeir, Alec, Len, Olaf. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool experience.
That's sick.
Okay. I got a curveball one for you. First try, go to backcountry, like pat down trick. Must land scenario.
Step down, probably cab 5.
Best method.
Ooh. I don't know. It's like I feel like what I like in the method has changed like throughout the years, but probably since I sort of changed my method like years ago, I was probably most inspired by Nicholas Miller. So that's probably the one that's had the most impact. Sorry, on me.
Great answer.
Yeah. So Mueller.
Last question. Worst trend. What do you got?
Worst trend, I think it's got to be a cancel culture.
Good answer.
All right. I actually almost forgot. We have a guest question from your brother, Frode. Here we go.
Okay, damn.
Hi guys, I'm a big fan of the podcast. Keep up the good work. Ståle, this is your big brother calling in. My question is, we traveled the world together for many years, and there's a big age difference between us. So I'm sure that everything looked different through your eyes. We went to China, New Zealand, Europe, US. We built backcountry kickers. We went in the streets at night. We went to big contests. We slept on floors. We slept in luxury hotels. We did a lot of different things. And my question is, what is your most memorable moment or moments? All right, guys. Hope you're enjoying the podcast, and I'm sure we all, or at least I'm looking forward to hear it. All right, cheers. Bye.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Making it really easy for me.
A hard-hitting question.
Yeah.
That's the type of question when you get the question, you don't remember anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we experienced so many things together. From the first time snowboarding, he was with us. We got it for Christmas, me and my sister, and he took us up to it was in Christmas holiday, and took us up to the hill and kind of just showed us quick. We just hiked up in the dark and just rode down a little bit, and then when we're done, I think Andres Wiig shows up, and Frode is shooting Andres Wiig for their movie, and he does a backflip gap on the kink rail. So that was my first day snowboarding.
Wow.
I saw that. Pretty memorable. Obviously, Arctic Challenge experience. I think when we went to Mammoth with Frode with 32, met this guy. Listening to this guy banter the first time, I was mind blown.
Good times.
And
You were a kid back then still.
yeah, man, so much. I can't come up with the ones, but yeah, he really took me under his wing and showed me, yeah, just kind of helped me get into where I am. And when I look back at it now, like how much he did for me, and we were shoveling street spots on Christmas Day, him and I, because he wanted to help me. I wanted to shoot photos. And he's 16 years older than me, so he was like, now if I was gonna do that I like to chill on Christmas Day, eat gingerbread and lay on the couch, you know. Now, but we were like shoveling stairs and you know, in the backcountry, and he's probably, I don't know if it was because he was with me and helping me and stuff, but it's probably the media person that's I've seen shovel the most. Like, he shovels more than the riders. He's so motivated, and I think thanks to him is a lot of my career is thanks to him. And like what Alec talked about, my motivation to keep going, the work ethic, is something that I've kind of mirrored from him and learned from him. So he was like he was so much older than me that he was more like a superhero. Like, we never argued until we got way older, you know. It was like, if he said something, that was like written in the Bible, you know, for me almost, you know. What he said was the shit. So he was like a superhero role, and yeah. We've been through a lot of cool stuff with big, like many times we went on traveling and people thought he was my dad. So it's been sick. Just gotta get him back into snowboarding again.
Brotherly love. That's amazing.
His art looks unreal.
Yeah, he's big into art now, and it's killing it. All of a sudden, went from photography to drawing these insane characters. Like, it looks like animated, but he's like coloring them and just sitting in his studio drawing all day. He's like so focused. But I need to get him out on the one other thing that was pretty cool was I was in teen for European X Games. I was we were riding half pipe still, and I was a little scared of doing the double and the half pipe. I knew how to do them by then, but it was like icy and stuff. And he calls me or texts me like, dude, if I do a monkey flip in the half pipe and I send you got to do a double. And I was like, okay. And then he goes up to the local mountain and sends me a video of him doing like a monkey flip. And I'm like, okay, now I got to do it.
That's sick.
That's so sick. What is a monkey flip for the record?
He called it monkey flip. I think it's what I would call a crippler.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I was picturing.
Yeah.
So you did it.
So I had to do the double.
Cab double.
I did front side, and I think I did front side. I did front side cab, but I don't know in this contest what I did. But yeah, pipe was scary at some points. Yeah.
I also heard you met Schwarzenegger with Colonel Kotz. We were reminiscing.
Yeah.
War stories.
The Terminator. Terminator showed up in Beijing for Air and Style. We were in the bird's nest, riding practice. Practice was over. We were gonna go to we had locker rooms when we were in these stadiums, and we were walking over, and there was this big guy, bunch of people around him, and we were like, "What's going on over there?" You know, because it was only us in the bird's nest because it was still practice days. And we walk over, and then it's like Arnold is there, and he goes like, "Hey guys, question: how do you calculate if you so you don't jump off of the side of the jump?" Like he thought we were gonna how we made the landing and not came off the side, and like and like all of a sudden Terminators that you're like, what the?
That's amazing.
What's going on? Like the biggest hand I ever seen. And then we got a photo with him. It's a memorable experience. Me, Kotzenberg, and Eric Willett, and the Schwarzenegger.
Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Actually, I have the same question because I tend to boomerang hook myself, so it's a good question. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a question here. We're going to get into Patreon. And this one is from Todd O'Hare. How is it creating your own signature boards? And do you have any artists in mind for future graphics?
Yes, thank you for the question. Creating your own gear it's a crazy experience. Dream come true, I think, for any action sport athlete or any athlete. And I've been lucky enough to do with multiple brands and get my own boards with Rome, and it's a really cool experience. Some years it's easy. You know the idea right away. It works well. Sometimes you're like, oh, shit. I can pick from anything in the world. What? And then, like, all of a sudden, the idea might come into your mind, or you might have an artist you want to use. Rome also has Paddock, who's a great artist in-house. And I think the process is pretty fun. Like, we brainstorm back and forth, and we come up with an idea. Or some certain years we've given it out to certain artists, and this one year we did it with the Dead Pigeon. If you look up on Instagram, it's a tattoo artist in Japan. I think he's Swedish, lives in Japan. That was a fan of the YouTube show, and we talked, and then I was like, whoa, we make sick art, and we just kept talking, and we did this one board with like the kind of Viking graphic with the axe underneath, which is, I think, my favorite graphic we did, and the most detailed. And he even, like, after it was produced, he sent me like, can you find this hidden detail? And it was like a tiny hidden detail of what's it called? Is it called a goon challenge when you're standing on your?
When you're standing face down, when you're laying
on
face
your board.
down?
On your board.
Oh yeah, the Gidon challenge. Gidon challenge.
Gidon, sorry.
Yeah.
And it was this video or photo of me, Marcus, and Mons or Torger doing it at Olympics. And he had hidden that photo in the graphic. So half a year later, he texts me like, can you find this hidden So I was like looking around on the holographic, trying to find that, which is pretty cool
That's
thing.
really cool.
Yeah. So I think it would be cool to work with him again.
That's
For
so
sure.
cool how that works out. Amazing. Well, we're going to get into the pub beer crapshoot. So there's 2 dice that are behind your head there.
2?
Yep. You're going to have to roll those. I'm going to play the theme song here.
Welcome to the Pub Beer Crapshoot.
Now, Pub Beer supports the show. So if you're thinking about responsibly having a couple beverages, always choose Pub Beer. And with that being said, you roll those 2 dice, and I'll ask you a question that correlates to the number.
3.
3. Okay. I mean,
Does that mean anything?
the Goo Gears is 6. So
Oh.
3 and 6?
9.
9. This is a great question. Wow, perfect. Name one thing that's still on your career bucket list you haven't done.
Alaska.
All right. Well, by the amazing.
Yeah.
And you're going there Tuesday.
Yeah.
By the time
Perfect.
this podcast has come out, you will have done it.
Yeah. Boom.
Are we
In a
going?
tent.
Are we where? We going in Haynes? We going in Valdez? Where are we going?
I think we're going Valdez, Poles line. Spenny kind of organized everything with those guys, and then after I got my US visa, I kind of dipped in last minute, and they were able to get an extra spot, and we're gonna sleep in tents, do split boarding, and hopefully a couple heli days, and just be out there in nature. Hopefully good weather. I'm hoping for good weather.
What are you hoping for up there? Like lines or jumps or just anything you really have been wanting to get into?
Yeah, I think mostly like freestyle lines.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're I'm kind of like joining their mission, but I would rather ride lines and freestyle lines than building kickers.
Yeah.
Natty
Find
back
kickers.
7? Natty back 7? Or?
Yeah, front 7, back 7.
Mm.
Cab 5, step down.
Can't wait to see what comes out of it.
Cab 5 step down into a natty back 16.
Something like that.
I mean, it's easy to over rotate it probably up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, this is
jump's
way bigger.
way bigger than I thought.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I go into it with like everything is a bonus. Like don't get stressed out there. Like be safe. Like if you feel like it, chuck it. If not, like it's my first time and could be super sick. Could be most likely super sick. I would imagine.
You're gonna have to hit some Wim Hofs at the top of that.
Yeah.
Or hold your breath. One or the other.
Yeah.
Both solid.
It might help to be dizzy going down there.
Just braille boarding. Okay, so we're gonna hit setups. We always like to ask our guests setups. What board you are riding, the model, you can walk us through your whole setup, outerwear, boots, the whole 9, bindings.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to get a couple of different boards with Rome, but I mostly ride the Stale Cruiser, which is
spelled CREW.
Yeah.
SER.
Yeah, for the crew. It's for the crew.
Yeah,
it's for the crew to cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a park board that's pretty friendly, but it has power too. Like it's quite soft for like what you would imagine like the contest rider would ride, but it also has these hot rods on the nose and tail, which kind of gives it a little bit more power on the end. So I don't like tail wheelie out of everything, but it's still playful enough as a softer board.
What kind of camber are we talking?
Normal camber.
Money?
Yeah. I'm not used to rockers. I think first time I tried a rocker, I tried a tail press and I did half a backflip off the rail. Because I was used to like this. I rode even stiffer boards back then. Kind of recently gone a bit more softer. So I ride that most of the time. The cleaver bindings, Rome, pretty solid bindings with and you can adjust a lot of stuff on these bindings. So like you kind of put your boot in and you adjust it to center the boot, which totally makes a lot of sense. Like in the beginning, I didn't know that, but then when they showed me like years ago, I was like, whoa, that makes sense. Like your toe is as much on that side of the board as your heel is on that side of the board. So you're centered. You can adjust these things. For me, who has small feet, my ankle strap I can actually tighten it real hard because it's like these pivot mounts you can do backwards. So there's like a lot of cool customizations. You just gotta explore it yourself and how you want to do it, which makes riding way nicer. And then I ride my Oakley signature line outerwear. So I'm super stoked on because I've been able to design it how I want it to look and feel. Oakley goggles, helmet, gloves. Pretty much, yeah. Oakley on the rest, and then Rome. And then merino, wolf merino layers. Been getting way more into layering now after... As soon as you go a little bit outside the resort, you start noticing like how important layering is, and trying not to sweat or get wet and staying warm, and it's gonna give you a way nicer experience on the mountain. So from like the first thing you wear to the next, especially when you go touring or hiking or it's snowing, I think that's something when we were competing, and like a lot of the younger guys in the industry don't really know. They're riding cotton t-shirt, hoodie on a backcountry day, or on a powder day, and you kind of learn it as you go, and then you don't go back, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What's up with Wolf? Like, is it new company?
Yeah, out of Norway, out of Hemsedal.
Yeah.
Wolf. It's like wolf in a sheep's clothing. So basically...
it's a great saying.
Base layers, merino. That's what you need. Yeah. So they approached me, like I know the guy who founded it, and I became a part of it. So
Awesome.
Before launch, and it's been cool to like. We went on some shooting, and I was not even being shot. I was like working on figuring out how to shoot other people, not just me, you know, which was cool. And yeah, just cool to have something on the side, which is cool. And be a part of something from the start.
You mentioned earlier too, you just bought a new crib, right? In Norway.
New house. Gonna move in this summer. Maybe do some renovation, but take my time, me and my girlfriend, to figure out what we wanna do, like how big of a renovation, instead of just starting right away and then you spend money renovating it and then you're like, shit, I could have done this instead. So yeah, that'll be nice. Pretty close to my brother actually, so now I can walk back and forth.
Killer. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I mean, we pretty much did it. I guess we asked one last thing. We kind of covered this, but what's next for Ståle?
What's next? I guess keep snowboarding, seeing where this filming side of snowboarding is gonna take me, and ride more powder. Like now I don't have to compete the best time of the season when it's snowing all the time and it's powder. Now I can go explore that, get into some bigger mountains, tour, and just I like all sides of snowboarding, so I want to kind of dig in deeper to all that. I feel like I've been just dipping my toes in the water. It's time to dive in and explore it and put my type of snowboarding into that terrain, and hopefully at some point create like a video part that I'm really happy with.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Big time.
I'm really excited for that, man. And then I guess before we wrap this thing up, if you want to throw any thank yous out, you can do that. And
shit, yeah. I mean, I don't want to miss out on anyone, but thank you to my boys back home from... I started snowboarding in Kirkebakken. All the guys, like they helped shape who I am and got me to this level of snowboarding by having fun. There's no pressure. There was no like soccer moms or dads telling us what to do. We were just playing around. Thank you to my parents who was driving me around everywhere I wanted to go for snowboarding and sitting out in the cold watching me and not pressuring me into anything and just being supportive. My brother, my sister, my girlfriend, national team, all my sponsors, Lasse Andersen for signing me on Oakley after I kicked him in the balls when I was 6 years old.
Amazing.
I thank you snowboarding. Thank you everyone. I don't know. I don't want to miss anyone out. But yeah, everyone that's been part of my life. It's been helping shaping who I am. I'm a person who likes to have people around me, and all the time. So
beautiful. Well said. Thank you for what you've done for snowboarding. You've skyrocketed in so many different directions, and it's been a real treat to see somebody of your stature that's good for our sport, our culture, and just staying true to what you do. So thank you for what you've done for snowboarding, Ståle. We really appreciate you. And we appreciate all the sponsors and all the Patreon members and everybody that tunes in. We appreciate you guys too. So it's been a good bomb hole, and we got another one coming at you next week. So over and out from the bomb hole.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Woo!